Cause in another week it will be not.
Get it while it's hot.
stroke my neck and I just wonder why I'm buried in a suit I'd never buy, a suit I'd never buy. Cufflinks on my wrist, I can't act surprised when the shovels hit dirt in the earth. Did they start to cry? Since I'm 17, I've been looking for a place to make me be complete. I've been looking all alone out there for anything to make me feel alive, bring me back to life. Cufflinks on my wrist, I can't act surprised when the shovels hit dirt in the earth. Did they start to cry? Since I'm 17, I've been looking for a place to make.
We're back, ladies and gents. The best broadcast in the business. RLCS, OCE, the God Squad, the four-man dream team is back for Open 5. Yummy Cheese, man. It's good to be here.
I love being here, love being back. Happy Easter to everyone as well. I hope you've all had a good weekend, and of course you'll have a much better one now that we get to see a bunch more own goals. Let's go, baby.
I already straight into it, but yeah, I mean, if our last regional was anything to go by, I'm excited for this weekend. It can only go up in a lot of ways, Monty. At least I would hope so, right? Like, surely we get better than last time.
Or better own goals or better overall, because that's
Everything. Better everything.
Look, I think you're probably onto something there. I think CJ's probably gone around overnight and laid some own goals around for everyone to find today, and that's pretty exciting as well for tomorrow.
Well, the only way's up, Formal says, in the world of the upside down, so I'm not sure how that works down under, but we do have Open 5 action. Obviously, we had some action previously before this, on Friday, yesterday, for the main event. 16 teams took their places, took their seats in the GSL bracket. 2 groups as well to find our top 8 for the playoffs. This was Group A from yesterday. That there were a few team streams as well, if you guys were able to catch them. Yummy Cheese, man. There was a bit of an upset here. Who is 8?
Bit of a take flight alert. Are they going to disband again? Because once again, they're in the lower bracket, 8 through into the upper bracket. That's your mate, your best friend, CJ Taragane, alongside Apples on Anxiety, and I don't know him, but I'm about to love him, X-Fusions.
It's kind of a crazy run, isn't it? But it's also kind of going with the trend as well, because Take Flight with their roster, they've only made upper bracket semifinals 1 out of 5 attempts right now. Granted, maybe you should say 1 out of 4 attempts, and then there was the one time where they didn't even get out of the group stage, so they haven't had the best of luck. But I think we got to take away that expectation now, Monty, that they're a consistent top 4 team.
I mean, I guess if they do well today, potentially we don't take that expectation away, but also Abyssal going out. Luna hasn't really had the best of the split 2 so far. They lost to Take Flight in that lower bracket, which, I mean, Take Flight, you expect them to win that. You also expect them to beat 8, but everything else looks pretty straightforward. Power straight through. Abyssal just really not getting gelled here.
I don't know what Take Flight are doing. Is this the point in the split where they take off again? Well, we'll have to find out later on today. But that was Group A. Let's go have a look at Group B just to see what's happening over that side of the GSL bracket. And I think it was a little bit more business as usual. Wildcard, Bulldogs trying to bounce back. One Open 3 looked terrible in the last event. Open 4, first event of the Paris split. But we've got Nerve Yummy. We saw them last time. They're back in the top 8. And You Not a Champ, You a Clown. The champs are back.
Yeah, maybe not too much of a surprise for the You Not a Champ. They are going to have to take on Take Flight, so that's going to be an interesting match later on today. But Nerve are back as well, and we had a little bit of high hopes for Nerve in the last event, so we'll see if they can do that once again.
I also like seeing consistency from the Bulldogs. I know they're kind of that cemented number 3 team, so this is maybe what's expected from them. But
what do you mean?
They're beating champs. That's consistent results. That's the same result twice in a row. Consistent.
They're beating retirees formal. That's. I mean, we want them. They won the Open 3. We want them to be pushing for a number 1 spot. I think they looked ordinary last event. I want to see them bounce back, and the pressure is on them to get some points money and also win some moolah. Some
now, I do want to point out as well something that we didn't call out with this bracket, but Heartless Gaming, Matthew, my man, where is he?
What? Hang on.
Looking.
What happened?
Looking. Yeah, find. Missing. MIA.
So GG Gaming Game, apparently that's Heartless, and they got knocked out in the first round of the double elimination. I think the boxing match might be off now.
I think they're a little late on the Gaming Gamers and Greater Gaming Gamers name sort of trope. That feels like 2-3 years ago. That was the meta. I'm not sure now. Maybe that's why they lost.
I feel like there's like 6 gamers overall that are allowed to have the Gaming Gamers or the Greatest Gaming tag, and I don't think any of those guys are amongst it as well, which is interesting. I do want to point out though, Champ's not playing with Mock this weekend. Misty is the substitute. I think Mock is watching football. I think that's what he told me. So for some reason, 1 game of football takes him out for 3 days of action.
Fair enough. Fair enough. In the most competitive, e-sport that we've got here, you've just got people going to watch the footy. That's all good. But Misty, your boy Yummy is subbing in, which is absolutely huge for the program. Here is the hybrid bracket that we will be going through this weekend, today and tomorrow on Easter Sunday as well. Bulldogs, Power, Wildcard. Your expected top 3 are up there. 8 are the surprise packet. Take Flight should be in there, you'd think, but we've also got a new org, No Car Esport. No Car, which, I said, I want to say it again as a dad joke. I think you need 3 of them. You need 3 cars, don't you, to take a pitch? Anyway, let's pull up the prize pool, Yummy. What are they playing for?
Let's just gloss past that last one. They're playing for plenty of money, but they're mostly playing for the points. Power sitting at the very top right now with that 18. You're gonna expect Wildcard. They want to steal those points this weekend. Maybe you'll Take Flight. They're in desperate times, desperate measures territory. Maybe they can make the full bracket.
I think realistically, though, when we're looking at those points right now, it should be for everyone else. They're just hoping Power doesn't win it again, because they go back to back with the major points that they were able to secure back in Boston as well. We're looking at a position, Monty, where realistically they win this event, they get a projected top 2 in the next one. They're set. They're going to Worlds.
And it's not a good look for anyone else. I mean, Yummy was saying that it's sort of the end of the reign of Wildcard and OCE. We're looking for them to make it the reign of Wildcard once more, to really just keep this alive and give us a blockbuster Open 6 like we saw in Open 3.
I just want to send the best team possible to Paris. So if that is Paris, if they're going to run down OCE, then the good news is they might earn an extra spot for the region through the LCQ, and maybe we'll see a wild card or
we already
Bulldogs
lost
take their place at
GG
Worlds.
game, so we can't send the best team, but let's send the second best.
That's true. We did lose Matthew, which is your boy, Yummy. Your boy after
I was
Open
genuine. All jokes aside, I was genuinely looking forward to seeing if they could redeem themselves. I was hoping that we'd get to see them on stream. I'm actually quite saddened by their early exit, but we do have a third event for the redemption there. We're going to have to look at some other redemption stories. Like I mentioned, Take Flight, maybe Nerve, who we thought had a good battle in the last event. See if they are the ones that can come up as well alongside Wildcard.
I want to see the Bulldogs. Monty, what's going on? I need to see the Bulldogs bounce back to that Open 3 form. I need to see them play well when they can actually qualify for a LAN.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it's sort of a no pressure kind of situation for the Bulldogs or not, that they seem to perform when everyone else is under pressure. That's how it felt in Open 3. But at the moment, they just simply haven't really been good enough. I think there's been couple of holidays as well, I'm going to be honest, from the Bulldogs on a couple of occasions, which, we love to see it. Not on main event day, which is at least to their credit for this split. But I think potentially it could have, ruined that sort of build up to the events like this.
What is going on right now? Players going on holidays, watching the footy, not training. I think we're finding out why Power and Wildcard are constantly at the top right here. They seem to be the most locked
You know what's crazy is Formal's already planning out how he gets to a LAN cafe for the next event in order to be able to cast this. He's on holiday and he'll still be doing it.
Exactly. Aren't we meant to be in a recession? Everyone's going on holidays. Oh, what's going on? We're clearly thriving here in RLCS OCE. But speaking of, the global situation, this is the Rocket League side of things. Your Paris major contenders from every single region. We've got our top 4 teams there from OCE currently with Power, Wildcard. The Bulldogs Take Flight, who need to make a big run here, but yeah, there's a couple of teams with a bit of a gap. You can look at Space Station as well. These have been updated based on the current Open happening as well. Open
quite
5.
a fan of this one, seeing Shopify Rebellion there. I was hoping we'd get a different team, but
okay,
strictly
awesome.
business maybe.
I think Mina's the real story here. I mean, Twisted Minds and Team Falcon's not even at the top anymore.
It is crazy, and Open 5 is looking wild as well. Falcons got swept by Twisted Minds. They're having to go through the top 6 run through Champ Sunday, so they're going to have to run the bracket. Twisted are looking pretty good. R8 Stallions. I mean, when's the last time we had a grand final without Twisted or Falcons
Never,
in it?
literally never.
There you go.
Yeah, and also Formal.
impressive.
Can you tell me who Kinotrope is from APAC and North Star? Give me the rundown of that.
No, I cannot.
Okay.
Kinotrope, that's
Thank you
Cash's
for
team.
that.
That's Kinotrope got the job done. That's Cash Maxu, your boy Yummy, and Furlash as well. So it's good to see them. They've been on the grind, stepping up. But yeah, big surprises at TSM. They got knocked out in the top 4. That's the Sphinx team, the number 1 team in the region. So it's exciting all around. That's what we're saying. It's going to be competitive. Whoever gets to represent OCE as well. Right now, Power in the box seat as we do look at the world's points overall. Power got a couple extra points by not coming last in Boston. Well done to them. They're sitting on 64 at the moment. Wildcard are there, but they do need to get going, Monty. They probably need to get a little win under their sleeve to make Open 6 competitive.
Yeah, and it's just not looked competitive from Wildcard since that semi-final in Open 3. It's been pretty well downhill since that point for the most part, and it is scary. It's a scary thought to potentially see Torsos missing a World Championship. We expect him to be there almost every time, only missed one in memory as well, and I think that's something that's pretty disappointing. As you said, they need to absolutely start getting a move on to make something happen for them.
Well, the main point
hasn't
with
gone
that
a
is
year.
not even that him missing the World Championship. If he misses the major, he wouldn't have gone to a single live event, single LAN for the entire season, which should be a first.
Which, first time in his career, which would be crazy. And maybe it's a sign of the changing of the guard. I mean, we're seeing it happen in MENA as well, maybe a bit less so in SAM, NA, and EU is always kind of a bit more volatile at the top. But I don't know. I like to think like the two, regions that are vying for that number 3 spot, each changing it up at the top. That's pretty exciting.
Formula, I also think it's more a sign of us only having one slot instead. Those two slots, they were there. So.
It's a tough situation, but it does make it more exciting for us. I think you can see a big gap for NA. EU have 5 spots, which is going to help them. But I think overall you can see it is, for the most part, going to come down to the wire, maybe except North America in the top 4. But let's get back to us. Let's focus on us because we're 10 minutes from kickoff and we need to get moving. I know that this is the best part of the pre-show from everyone watching at home, and it is us focusing on what makes OCE great. And no, it's not the own goals, Yummy. We don't do fails anymore. We do top plays. We focus on the great moments of this region. Kick it off for us.
Look, we're going to start off with a doozy. I think last event was fantastic across the board, but super lucky right early on, gets the triple tap up against his ex-teammate as well, who just got deleted from the table. Amphis underneath. That's not enough. All 3 are up, still couldn't stop him.
Yeah, but it wasn't just the individual plays, team plays as well. Gus finds the setup, gets the pass across with the help of the Musty, and then Super Lucky does the double again. So it's like that last play, but better because, you know, teammates got involved, and that's what it's all about. And this is why Power right now is so threatening. That was just such a great Musty set to set it up. Fantastic.
Yeah, and when we look at players that can make highlight plays in OCE, I mean, Amphis is an absolute standout, isn't he? He's always loving to send himself down onto that back wall for a play that's pretty similar to this. He's scored a few of these in his career, and he gets another one there. The redirect just sets himself up nicely. He's got plenty of time to think about this as well. We're talking about team plays. It's a long pass downfield from Scrub, but Amphis just makes the job happen.
Yeah, he's a human highlight reel, but Team Power, they were the team highlight reel after the open 4, bounce it back. Oh, Boston was fantastic, and they're looking even better in the Paris split. Have a look at the catch from Gus. The pre-jump play, you could just see how early he just decided to take flight, if you would, but not playing like take flight. Gets the reset off the roof around 2 in net. That's beautiful.
And then we go to goal number 1, and this... it just feels near impossible. The double off the corner. He was so close to it. The reaction times from Amphis, incredible, unbelievable. That is something special.
He loves that map, I feel like, Formula. I feel like we've seen him do that time and time again on Utopia
That was
Coliseum.
5 power clips, by the way. Like, all top 5 plays were all power, in case you didn't catch that at home.
Either for or against them, but sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, well, I'm not sure if Amphis is on power, but you know, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you. They were in everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. And the good news is we don't have any fails because we had a great open 4.
What are you talking about, CJ? We need some fails, baby!
Come on!
I mean, we get started off with what we're calling an honourable mention, because this looks very similar to something we saw in a Season 5 Grand Final, just coming in and bumping their own teammate on the goal line, and then Rooster, the big jock, goes, hang on, that's my own net, too late.
Let's keep the own goals rolling then, shall we? My goodness, what an event we had. Have a look at the set play. B-head to Hunter, who just redirects Skimmy Dim Sim. That's probably gone 140 clicks straight into his own net. I don't know what he was thinking trying to intercept this, but all he's done is find the back of his own net. My goodness, what is that?
Look, there might be an excuse there, but there's no excuses anymore in our top 3. Kaka, he couldn't get the job done with the first one. He goes for round 2. This is an incredible own goal from Kaka. He feels like he needs to contribute, and he does so beautifully.
That being said, while it was a good, clean finish, Amphis is a player known for his, well, more incredible angles. Well, we get to watch this one again off the roof.
That was at number 3.
This is only number 3, CJ. There's still 2 more after this, but again, just the perfect fall, the perfect touch, redirects it front and center, nailed it.
It seems like something on this map that if you're putting the ball towards this blue goal, you just have to drive as fast as you can towards it. And Dougie, I mean, there's no thought to put the brakes on. It's just full send into his own net. The pancake from Rez as well. I don't mind it, but I probably should.
Well, this is it. I mean, when you're talking own goals, you're talking big moments. Game 7 Champfield. Paris on the line. Everything on the line. Do or die. You get to overtime. You want to step up for your team. You want to support your teammates and be the greatest player you can possibly be. And this is what we saw from this man, Laxon. We're looking at Kaka off the roof. Laxon goes, boom, into his own net.
He's done the region proud here. Once again, just a call back to Sicky Game 7 overtime when all the chips are down, when you might be about to make the Paris Major. That's when you got to step up with your own goal.
Amani, can we get a recreation of your reaction to when that went in? I want to hear that again one more time.
I don't think so. I'm sure there's enough clips out there, and I'm too sick to do it today.
Oh, that is hilarious. I cannot believe we had that many good plays. That was from one event. That looked like a year-long compilation of the greatest moments in OCE history. But yeah, that was just Open 4. So let's hope we can get some value from Open 5 as well, ladies and gents. Goodness me, let's take a look at the schedule. We've got 4 best-of-7s today, Yummy, in the playoffs. 2 lower bracket matches, followed by our uppers.
Yeah, we're going to have a nice calm end to this one. No, calm start to this one down in the lower bracket. We got Nerves and No Car. Loser goes home. Same with the chance versus Take Flight. And then the blockbuster, CJ. This is what we're looking for. Wildcard versus 8.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, this is the one that you really wanted to cast as well, Wildcard versus 8. So that's going to be
I said that right before the show. I was like, yes, I get the series of the day.
Exactly. He's so excited. He loves casting new teams that are stepping up into that upper bracket. That'll be our 3rd match of the day. But let's get into our first matchup. Let's take a look at who is going to be taken to the pitch from. We got Nerve taking on No Car, hopefully 3-car esport.
Yeah, I actually am excited for this one. I think this is probably the closest matchup, or one of the closer matchups we're going to see today. Elliot, of course, is the renaming of Nasty. So if you're not familiar with that name, but you remember who Nasty was, same lineup that we saw last regional as well, looking to make that run. But I think more importantly, Monty, we just saw him get the #1 play of the event last time. Yep. Laxon, eyes are on him for maybe a bit of redemption.
Yeah, I mean, today is a day to potentially just get themselves steadying the ship and feeling better about themselves. I do have news that it is Keckle's birthday as well. I was told to shout that out. So there you go. A bit of a birthday buff potentially for this Nerve roster.
Do we know Prompt's first name? Because we've got Elliot, we've got Connor. Could have had a full sort of change up of the names, but yeah, you can't get past the history of Hawk. Prompt, the up-and-comer, up against, well, a team that are perfect at own goaling in a Game 7 overtime. We're going to see something special, I think.
Just incredible. Maybe they'll save it for Champ Sunday when it really matters most, but they do have to get through this team first. No Caris, but I feel like Nerve should be the favourites after what we saw in the previous event. But if Laxon can keep stepping up for the other team, anything is possible. No coach, but Clutchy coaching for No Cup, which is cool to see. As we're about to get into this one, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, in terms of predictions, guys, I'm going to go out there and say if you're scoring a goal like that in Game 7 when it matters most, when Paris is on the line, I'm going to back you in every single time. So give me Nerve.
And look, I know this isn't a shining star on their name, but they did go to Game 7 against Canterbury Bulldogs last week. If they can do that, they can make another long run. So I've got Nerve as well.
I want to see Nerve actually crack that top 4 this event. They've come up 1 game or 2 games short in that 5th, 6th position. So many regionals in a row right now, and in order to do that, they got to get through this match. So I'm taking Nerve as well.
Well, unfortunately, everyone else has gone Nerve, and I wanted to go Nerve for the birthday buff. And you know, I'm not changing my mind. Potentially a curse, I don't know, but it's Nerve for me as well.
Don't you want some revenge for your boys?
Not particularly.
No, okay.
I was thinking maybe
he doesn't like it's a love more hate relationship with Monty and the Bulldogs.
At the moment, it is, yes. In Open 3, I loved him. Since then, maybe not so much.
I mean, since it's Keckle's birthday, maybe if Formal could kind of a cappella a happy birthday to take us into game or something might be a great way to kick off playoff Saturday. Yummy, what do you think?
Look,
I can give it a crack, but I would want the backup. I would need the help from
Monty can
both of you go, actually. That just sounds brilliant. I reckon we can harmonise really well.
I'm not well enough for this. This is...
all
I'm
you
trying
have
to
to do
conserve
is
for the important stuff of casting.
Monty, I just need a
this is
few...
important.
I just need a few whoos, something like that as he's going into game. So I think that'll be a great way when we do...
Maybe a go-girl here or there. That would be nice from you.
And I've heard that's what Keckles wants as well, and it is his birthday, so it would be rude to not provide him with his birthday wish. And maybe that'll be good luck as well for Nerve and see if Keckles can get the job done.
We got a ghost in the corner.
Let's just let him go. Hey, Formal, the stage is literally yours. Game is ready. Let's get into it.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
Happy birthday, dear Keckles.
Cackles.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip.
Hooray!
Hip, hip.
Hooray! Let's get into the action, Max.
Let's get going. Here we are. This is our 5th regional of the year. Paris on the line. Teams, though, at this stage, more concerned with maybe cracking into that top 4. And it all starts right now. Blue side, Nerve. On the orange side, it is the lineup of Prompt, Elliot, and Hawk, and No Car Esport. I like how it was singular, too. It wasn't esports money. It was esport.
Yeah, no, just the one. No, nothing other than Rocket League is what I'm hearing. I mean, you mentioned earlier in the pre-show as well about this Nerve side, right? You want to see Dem make it into the top 4. I feel so bad for Nerve, the player, for not making it into the top 4 after that performance from, other players on the field in that Game 7. I feel like he held his own for the most part in that series. Well, that's going to be the opener. Hawk, talking about the other team, Hawk goes, hold up. It's my chance to shine.
Yeah, I mean, I feel both these teams realistically are going to be coming in with a little bit of an edge to their name as well. I mean, when you look at that Hawk side, they were also 1 game or 2 games away, I would say, of getting into that top 6. But like they were close. They were very, very close. Nerve, Lax, and Keckles. I mean, obviously Nerve almost got that top 4 they were looking for before. Laxin needing that bit of revenge. It's a very interesting matchup, and like this is sort of, dare I say, peak bubble scene OCE Rocket League right now.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I suppose there's players out on the field that you go, can they really be called bubble players considering the history they have? But a few names out there, Cackles and Nerve, just some of those that you go, yeah, probably fair enough. We want to see them step up, and I think Cackles has done that so far this season, has looked pretty good for, I'm not sure if it technically is his rookie season, but his first sort of breaking into the real limelight of OCE. Want to see what he can provide, and I mean, over the course of this season so far, he scored bucket loads of goals, and I think he's probably going to continue here, hopefully, for this Nerve roster.
I think, maybe a bit younger in his RLCS career, but not the youngest player out there. All right. He wanted that very known before. Not going to dox any ages, but definitely not one of the older players out on the field, I will say. Maybe closer to Yummy and I than to most of our viewers, but we'll see how he goes on this one. Still 3-10 left. Keckles down the middle, up to Laxin towards the backboard, and it's a swing and a miss. Set up for Nerve, shots on, not in. Hawk with the save.
Yeah, I like that fake from Cackles. I think it was entirely planned. Didn't really have the boost to get the shot over the top like he would have liked, so left it. Didn't quite turn into anything on that occasion as Cackles. That's a bump. Nerve leaves it for Laxin. Should be a goal. It's not. Hawk denies. But still as Nerve will put that one home. We have a tight game.
Placement. The name of the game for this one. And I'm a little bit surprised Laxin's shot right there. It was just straight on, hoping to power it past Hawk. But the important thing was, because of how fast Hawk had to react, couldn't really put the ball where they wanted, and Nerve there to clean it up. So good job coming from that blue side. Team Nerve gets on the board. We're tied, and now Laxin with boost in space.
Yeah, he just sends it a long way, though. Doesn't really look to play for himself, which we expect from Laxin. Prompts down the sideline towards Hawk now. He'll look to center that one if he can get back to it. Low boost, though, just takes the 50. Nerve gets the benefit of the corner boost. Prompts will just slide that one across the net. Laxin out to the corner again, and it's not looking too composed right now from Nerve. Keckles has to stretch, makes the stop, but it's not looking too good. I'm not liking this from Nerve. They're not really taking control when they should be.
Yeah, it feels a little lackadaisical from the blue side at times. That said, good touch from Nerve themselves to get that ball past the midfield line. Keckles grabs the midfield boost, but all they get is a demo. Now the pass across to Nerve, shot wide. Could have been an opening there. Hawk will bring it back. Keckles looks to slow it down. Prompt wants to make the read, but as Keckles drops the ball, it'll actually be Elliot who picks it up. Now double commit on that sidewall, a chance to center it, but it is Laxin who barely got there right before Elliot has. Yeah, both teams, they're so close to making great plays right now, Monty, but they're just a little bit behind.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably something to do with Game 1. Not always the best of plays in Game 1. In fact, normally some of the worst of plays. We saw, 3 own goals of those top own goals were in Game 1s. So, off the back of that Laxin Game 7 own goal, it felt like the next 2 series had Game 1 own goals as well. So, something that we expect from the scene is those rough starts to games, and Prompts will hammer that one home. but a lot of pressure put on this net, and eventually it had to break down.
Yeah, I mean, again, just constant shots, constant barrage of pressure. And with how many double commits we've been seeing from both sides, to be completely fair, I do feel like if you keep peppering the goal, and as long as you're faster to it, yeah, those openings are going to come maybe sooner than in most series. I'm hoping both teams just get a bit more discipline into their game as the series progresses, because right now it feels almost solo QS. Oh no!
Well, you say oh no, but I think this is, aside from potentially one error in there, a really good play from Lax, and he gets the bump and prompt. I mean, he's probably not expecting that. He probably trusts that a teammate will get to it. It's a very nice play from Laxon to tie us up.
Yeah, Laxon, fantastic on the setup, but realistically, I don't know. I kind of expect Prompt to be there underneath. Historically, Prompt has been a strong defender. A rare miscue from the young player. Now we're tied. Less than a minute to go. Silver goal situation. You'd have to imagine next point going to win this opening game. And with how volatile it has felt, this series, it's really important to get that first win, especially when you're not playing your best yet. If you can kind of steal one away, it will do wonders. Hawk, air dribble, can't take it all the way to the net.
And through the corner for Nerve. Prompt gets demoed. Cackles looks for another one here as well, but Hawk just does well. Steps by and gives away possession once more. Those are the moments I'm looking at. Just taking possession could do you a world of good for either team. It's not often we've seen either of them take control. Laxon infield towards Nerve. He looks at the back wall. Good play. Keckle set up. And on the double, he gives them the lead.
How's that for an early birthday gift? A game one securing goal. You would have to imagine Nerve gets it past two. Keckle's there to down the shot. And looking pretty good with 12 seconds remaining. Nerve may have just secured game one.
And it's a very nice setup on that play overall. All three involved. What you want to see from this roster. I like it when everyone is amongst it. That's a good play from Hawk, not to be. Elliott towards Prompt, trying to make something happen at zero here. Elliott with the flick, just not quite able to get it over the top, and Laxon should let this one drop down. Prompt keeps it alive momentarily, as Keckles will let it drop on down finally, and Nerve do take game one.
Yeah, a very sloppy game one from both sides with a couple moments of brilliance from the usual suspects, but in the end, Nerve does enough to get that win. And if you can win the chaotic game, Monty, and you have the confidence that you'll be able to settle things down and sort of, get back in your flow state, that first win, I have to stand by. It means so much in terms of the tempo of this series. No car, they need to find their discipline and fast.
Yeah, I feel like potentially, in a way, of course, game one can be so important, but at the same time, game one is often that one where you feel out the opposition, and I feel like that's exactly what's happened here. Neither team looked overly impressive in this game. Nerve the better with particularly that winning goal the team plays, and Laxon with the bump as well. But for Nokar, I think there's another sort of level that they can take this game to, and I don't think game one will completely rule them out. We've seen Nerve go to a couple of game sevens in the past, and I don't think game one will be the most important game of the series.
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with all of that, and we'll see how it plays out moving forwards. But I don't know, man. Both teams need to settle, and I think whichever team settles first is going to be the one that wins this series outright. That was so different from Nokar than what I normally expect from them. They were double committing. They were having miskills on that defensive line where they're usually, I would say, with this lineup, going to be one of their stronger suits. It just was odd to me. And it could be a reason for concern. That said, Hawk off the kickoff, just unable to stay with the ball, but the pressure is coming fast and furious from Nokar. They're not getting that ball towards the net. Defense continues to hold it. And then again, look at that. Hawk is just bumping Prompt out of the way.
I was going to say it feels disjointed at times, but when you're bumping your own teammates, I'm not sure if that's the right sort of word for it. It just feels like they're not quite on the same wavelength, and that's sort of haunted them in game one. Game two, I mean, they could have been 1-0 up. Of course, it wasn't all said and done. The goal was going to be in the back of the net if the shot came through there, but it felt like something could have been building. A couple of chances early, and it breaks down because they bump into each other as Laxon, he's got low boost. The physicality is turned up a notch really quickly here as well, but it opens up the net for Nerve. All the bumps and demos coming through from Nokar, and they've left themselves vulnerable.
Yeah, car chasing a bit too much. I mean, you can see awkward, weird double commit right there. I don't know the situation where the ball would fall into Prompt's lap. And then you've got Hawk in a bad position where he has to quickly rotate back, was going for the boost, thought maybe the midfield pressure would give them more time. And now we're looking at a 1-0 deficit for the no-car side. This team, they're too loosey-goosey. They need to tighten up, Monty.
Yeah, and I feel like you kind of expect these players to enjoy that loosey-goosey kind of play style, but it's not really working for them. And in terms of, you expect them to go for those sort of solo plays and make things happen as individuals, but it's not working for them today. Everyone kind of, I think, too aggressive. That play just brought to a stop because of the demo.
Yeah, Elliott saved the goal right there. It was an amazing setup, just air dribbling past two defenders, and Keckles in spot to secure a 2-goal lead. So well done by Elliott in that situation. Now Hawk doing some air dribbling of their own. Straight to the backboard, Keckles will collect, tries to slow play Elliott, who gets the better on the 50, stays with it. What a play, Elliott!
Yeah, what a play. As you said it, I mean, that could be one of those goals we look for at the start of tomorrow. What a play, Elliott from the corner, finds the back wall, and yeah, Laxon puts in his own goal, but it's nowhere near as bad as we've seen previously.
No. I'm not taking anything away from Elliott on that one. They kind of read Keckles like a book, sets it up, puts it through. Laxon, accurate touch, forces Elliott into the back of their own net. Now Prompt finally gets a chance to get that ball across that midfield line. Light touch from Elliott, gets away from him. Keckles corner, has Laxon. Laxon looks to go over the top of Hawk, does so, but runs out of boost in the process. Doesn't get the bump on Prompt, might not matter. Nerve sets up Keckles, but Elliott is there, and with the magic touch, it's a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, just a willingness to send players forward there from Nerve, and it's cost them. The late commit, great challenge from Elliott, and Prompt, easiest goal he'll score today, but I mean, that came from Nerve being all too willing to send players forward, and that's not what you want to see. We saw a couple of defensive lapses from either team in game one. It doesn't feel like it's entirely been cleaned up in the second.
Yeah, I will say this, though. While Hawk and Prompt do seem to be getting in each other's way, Elliott has had a few key moments in this game in particular that tells me they are switching back on, and that could be a dangerous sign for the Nerve side. Here comes Elliott again off the roof. Won't get the read this time. In fact, it's Laxton. Stays with it underneath. Prompt again, a little bit awkward of a spot. Can't make the save, and we're tied 2-all.
Yeah, it's a very beneficial bounce here off that Laxton play. Just the right height on it, and the touch of the back wall, just not read from Prompt. Good follow-up from Nerve as well, and it feels pretty similar to what we saw in the previous. Nerve was able to capitalize from this point in game one. What happens in game two?
Trying to defend a 2v1, it doesn't matter who the second player is, but with Laxon, with control of the ball, you know he can put the ball anywhere. Like, it could be a pass, it could be a shot anywhere on net. I don't envy Prompt being put in that position right there. And yeah, unfortunately for Prompt, just unable to make the save in that situation. So the game is tied now. Prompt has a chance to maybe put one in, but is unable to get it past Laxon, who just has Prompt's number, it feels.
A couple of demos from NoCar, just keeps them inbound. Good demo from Keckles as well. Well, that's going to give them an opportunity. Elliott from the corner will be able to take that away. Not quite getting past Nerve, but Prompt will break that midfield line. Touch forward here from Laxon. We haven't really seen too much from him overall. I want to see more from him this split in particular. It feels like he's kind of gone quiet. Of course, that big moment, but other than that, it really does feel like going forward, it's not
the single greatest highlight.
Yeah,
in, the past 3 years in OCE history. You want more. You are greedy, Monty.
I want more going the other way. You know what I mean? I want to see something. I want to see something. I want to see a highlight play we expect from him. I mean, look back to his flip reset on Wildcard in that grand final last season. Something like that. The ice moments in Game 7. We got expected of Laxon in those moments, and we haven't seen it so far this season.
Well, I still think you're greedy, but I think there's nothing wrong with being greedy in terms of wanting good Rocket League play. It's something we should all strive for. And with this game, again, 2-2 with 1 minute to go, just like Game 1. We're kind of in that silver goal situation. It is NoCar leading the charge, but Elliott unable to get it around Keckles, at least initially. Hawk with the second opportunity, sees it go straight into Laxon. No boost, no matter, does enough for Nerve to find the clear, and now here comes the charge. Keckles underneath, leaves it for Nerve after Hawk makes the touch. Ball falls down, Laxon not ready, Elliott is. Opportunity now for NoCar. Keckles gets the bump, but the ball still falls in the box. Where's the shot? It's not there in time.
No boost from Cackles meant Prompts could get there on target. Hawk will get the finishing touch. And it feels like a mirror image of what we saw in game 1 with a late goal to give him a 3-2 lead here, this time for Nokar. And Hawk, I mean, he probably was going in anyway, but he gets the finishing touch. And it looks pretty good. Nokar, 32 seconds to hold on.
And again, it was prompted with another double commit on defense, just opening the door. Both these teams in critical moments, lacking some of that defensive discipline that one may need. Game not over yet, though. 22 seconds, and the ball is on the orange side of the field. Nerve just drops it right into Elliott, though, and that's going to mean so much more work for the Nerve team to make this last goal happen.
And Cackles on the back wall needs to move it forward and with some pace about it. Does well to find a reset. Prompts will play that one away. Nerve keeps it inbound. Won't be able to get back to that play. Drops down. Nokar do take the second.
So we have ourselves a series tied 1-all. Nokar bounce back, but again, it feels like this series feels very a regional 4 right now. You have moments of brilliance mixed with moments of head-scratching double commits and strange defense. Neither team still feeling settled, and I know there's the meta of waiting for, the 2-loss moment to call that timeout and try and settle it there, but I feel like an early timeout from either of these teams would not be amiss.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're expecting too much from OCE here, to be honest with you. I don't think we've really seen it.
Says the person who wants Laxton to get the triple reset double touch highlight play of the century.
Yeah, because it's Laxton. We expect not a triple reset. I have to just point out, he got a reset. That's the one I was referencing, by the way. You were calling that game. You should remember that. But yeah, more so, I think, it just doesn't feel very... this game feels very OCE at the moment, I'm going to be honest. Just, as you said, it feels very open 4 as well, where they're not getting these plays that we expect. Well, where, sometimes they get the plays that we go, wow, that's great. The double tap from the corner. And then a lot of these moments, it broke down for Nerve in that second game where they were just too open. They were too vulnerable on defense. They couldn't get back in time. That's left them, maybe, as you said, scratching their head of what's gone wrong there, as they need to make something change into game 3. It's a question mark over potentially whoever wins this. They might just be able to take that confidence and run with it, because that feels like all this series needs for a winner is someone to have that confidence.
Oh my gosh, Laxton! Oh, if that had gone in, Monty, that would have been your highlight play right there. That was dangerously close.
Yep, not a reset, but definitely would have been the highlight of the game so far. Had a lot of power behind it, just didn't quite have the accuracy. Prompt, that was dangerous for a moment. He gives away possession as well. Laxton now looking to step up for those highlight plays that I am looking for. And Nerve will put that one too easy towards Elliott. Should be able to clear, but it feels like early in the games, the goals have been scored pretty easily from both teams. Later on, it's a little more difficult, but in the sort of last minute, that's when we see the winning goal scored. In the early stages, it's been pretty much a goal fest, which we haven't quite seen here in the opening first minute.
You know what? You said before this is Regional 4, and Hawk almost gets the double, but can't down that shot. I'm going back to kind of what we said at the start of the series. This is peak OCE bubble scene, where you get the high highs, the low lows, and everything in between right now. See who strikes first in this pivotal Game 3. Lots of demos at the moment. Laxton looking midfield. Doesn't have a teammate, only has opposition initially. Nerve will back him up, though, and get that ball into a good position. Team Nerve. They lose it just as fast. Laxton will slow it down. Has to burn all the boost, though, to get past midfield. Actually saved a bit. Doesn't get the steal. That's okay. Keckles wanted to throw it back to Nerve, but instead it's Elliott playing keep away. Can't put it on net. Nerve was there. And we continue to go back and forth.
It felt like an almost moment like we saw in the previous game where everyone was forward from Nerve. Oh, what is this? The pace that was put on it. I'm not sure if he got the final touch, did he? Well, who got this touch here? Elliott? No, he did get the skim. That is ridiculous. I thought it might have taken a deflection. It didn't. 1-0. What a goal.
Elliott reminding us who he was back in the first split and how realistically this was going to be, one of those up-and-coming players to watch out for. They had just been getting stronger and stronger finishes all through 2025. Split 1-26, maybe a little bit of regression, but they always were a bit nasty with their shots, and they get another one right there. Keckles Trying to equalize. Can't get it past the defense. Leaves it for Nerve. Off the roof. Fast double, but Laxton will push it out. And, I mean, unfortunately for the blue side, not going to get the goal yet.
Yeah, he just couldn't get around it. I think he was probably not expecting it towards goal. That's a clearance from Nerve. That one not on target either. A couple of long-distance efforts, just not quite finding the target. Cleared away towards Elliott. Good speed from Laxton. He'll keep it inbound. Keckle's corner ball. Laxton to follow up, and Hawk just forces it to his own back wall. Low boost from Nokar. In the end, they managed to get it to the corner. I thought they might have just gotten each other's way. Not to be there. A demo from Elliott as well. Might just open the door momentarily. Hawk has plenty of time to think about it. He left it. Prompt scores the second.
Yeah, I got a little bit nervous, but in the end, Hawk does the right thing. I mean, that ball was so open. Prompt did have to do a little bit of a wave dash to get on that fast, but I mean, yeah, when the net's that open, it would take something special to mess that play up. Well done from the No-Car side, who in this game 3 right now, you have to admit they have apparently found their composure finally.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about just before this game. Finding the composure, finding the confidence as well. So important in this game 3. Whoever could find it in this game, potentially able to force it across. That's not composed. That's not confident. It's very awkward, and Nerve benefits from it.
And now we're back to this like weird double commit, lack of urgency. Yeah. Nerve just had to jump, and the goal was theirs. Very odd play, Monty.
Yeah, it's back to what we were saying about some highlight plays in a game and some not so highlight plays in a game. We've come to expect that, come to love it from OCE, and it continues to deliver here. As Elliott will find the back wall. Laxton clears, but Prompts, that's a good dunk. Might get back to it himself. He's hit it off the post, and that would have been another pretty spectacular moment.
There's been a lot of those close but not quite there moments from both teams right now. Prompt, a chance to possibly put this game away. The placement not quite where it needed to be. An amazing save from Laxton. Keeps them within reach, but the pressure is still coming from Nokar. Demo midfield opens the gate for Keckles. Has Nerve underneath. Shot on, shot in. We're tied. Third game in a row where it's 2-2 with about a minute left.
It just feels like these teams love a 2-2 scoreline. And I mean, again, it was kind of too simple. The defense not getting back in time. Not really expecting the breakaway to happen. And they get caught out once more. 2-2, as you say, minute remaining. It feels very, very much like game 1 and 2. It continues to deliver as Laxton takes a challenge there. Doesn't lead to too much. That demo might. Nerve corner ball. Won't get a second touch himself. Keckles was waiting. Prompt put it down line. And this time, third man back, Laxton will find the corner. Potentially finding a setup as well. Keckles drops it in off the crossbar.
Keckles, another birthday gift. They are greedy on their birthday. Again, more than allowed. Late lead, post down and in. That's a great time to commit right there. 3-2 advantage for Nerve, and in a series that's going blow for blow. That might be enough to get the advantage back on that blue side.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen a team take the game back after a 3-2 scoreline. See if that continues this trend in this game. Nerve takes a 50 low. Wants to stay behind it. A 4-2 scoreline would probably put them out of sight in this game, which they do just there. Nerve had not heaps of boost to work with, but just enough to get some power behind it, and too much for Hawk to get the touch.
Not heaps, they had none. Don't need any boost with a flick like that. That flick was gross, well placed, well powered through. Definitely more than enough to secure game number 3 as Nerve, whoa, a little too eager off the kickoff right there, puts it in reverse, gets a touch on it, stops the counterattack, but with time on their side, going into game 4, now the pressure is going to fall back to Nokar. And, I mean, again, with the way the series has been playing, I can see this one, the pendulum is going to be allowed to keep swinging.
Yeah, I can see that. I could also see from this position now that, the 3-2 curse has been broken. Potentially, Nerve can get away with it. It felt in the start of this game that for Nokar, they stepped up. They started having that confidence and the ability that we expected from them. Keckles, he gets a highlight play to end us off in game 3. The game was secured. He doesn't care. He gets another one. That's his second of the game. Happy birthday.
Yeah, nice little reset, Musty, to secure the game down. Are you still happy, even though that wasn't Laxton, though, Monty? Because I know that's what you wanted from Laxton, but we got it from a different player instead.
I'm A-okay with anyone on this field scoring a banger, and we've seen a couple of very good goals in that game. That's all I want. If it's not Laxon, it's okay, but I do want to see more from Laxon. It's not a point of just scoring the mechanical plays. I just don't think we've seen the Laxon we expect to see. Although, in this game, doesn't matter. He's not on the score sheet. Keckles is. No for the hat-trick as well. For them, I mean, it felt like, as I was going to say, it felt for Nokar, they started building that confidence early. They started getting the goals. It was an insane redirect to open the scoring. It felt like they could go on with it. They can't. Nerve turn it around, and potentially, you know, you're saying it might go back and forth, but game's going to spark a team into action and force a series to not go the distance. I feel like it's going to be that one.
I mean, I was calling the back and forth before Nerve got 2 last-second goals right there to maybe twist the dagger in a little bit. But I'm a little bit curious because what Laxon do people actually want to see right now? There was a lot of hype for that own goal, so I'm kind of looking at the chat. Do they want to see the own goal Laxon, or do they want to see the highlight play Laxon? I know what you want, Monty.
Yep.
And I'm kind of in agreement. I'd rather see highlight Laxon, but I'm curious if the chat, if you'd rather see like the own goal Laxon, maybe, you know, as a method to get Nokar a bit more back into this, give us a bit more of a series. I'm curious because I worry those types of goals, it can define a reputation, at least for a little while here in OCE. Maybe everybody has them, so it's a bit less damaging than if it was in a different region, but we need that highlight from Laxon to remind us all who he is.
Yeah, that's the main thing I'm looking for. I think to answer that question, pretty much social media, for the most part, will probably say the own goals. I think those through and through OCE lovers will probably say we want to see the highlight plays from Laxon. And he might set something up for his team here. We'll just put that towards net. Prompt easy enough to get back and get the save, but it sets up Keckles with the double off the flip reset to open the scoring.
You know what? If Keckles is putting in goals like this, maybe we can get away with a couple more own goal Laxons. The reset, the touch, just beating out the defense. 1-0 lead. And I had a quick look at chat. I'm seeing more low light montages, own goal action fun. I don't know, man. It feels like people just want excitement. They want chaos, and OCE always delivers. Here comes Laxon, 2-0 lead.
And I don't want to get ahead of myself here because Nokar was in a similar situation in the previous game where they had that 2-0 lead early and then it sort of fell apart for them. But this feels like potentially that momentum has completely gone the way of Nerve now. Able to make it a 5-2 game in the previous, 2-0 very quickly here. They're scoring a lot of goals and they're scoring some pretty decent ones as well, which is what we're looking for. Nokar probably need to respond to just soon, just to stop the bleeding. I think that's the main point here. But overall, we're looking at like Nerve finding the form that we want to see rather than that topsy-turvy kind of gameplay. It looks like they may have found their form once more.
Yeah, and again, this is a Nerve team that they've gotten so close to that top 4 so many times, and if they want to make that jump, you know, we got to see evidence of it in series like this. And they were nervy at the start. Definitely feels like they have settled. The only player that they're still winning for, although they got 1 goal in this game, it is Laxon. I do have to admit though, I saw someone in chat mentioning the birthday buff is real. I'd like to think, Monty, the success we're seeing from Keckles, it's more to do with our lovely singing. Really with the inspiration that he needed to step up and perform so far.
Yeah, look, well, hang on, that might be a good place set up onto the back wall. When I was told that it was his birthday, they said, can you mention it? And I went, you know what, we'll probably talk about it at some point. I'm not sure that whoever told me that message was expecting us to sing our way into the first game. But Keckles, I mean, definitely should be thanking us after this if they go on to win, because I think the birthday song buff is more than anything here as Laxon finds the post.
I feel like that's a shot Laxon normally makes. Top in was open. Keckles still playing keep away. Pass back to Nerve. Doesn't want to commit for the double touch. Saw Prompt was there. Lets them ride. Now here comes Elliott, who gets bumped off the play. Keckles wins the race. Ball's coming to the backboard, but again, Prompt on defense. A bit more settled. Hawk with the midfield demo. Now this is the defense I was expecting from Nokar. The pass, the shot, the goal. That was brilliant.
Everything about that counterattack was fantastic. Elliott just so controlled, the flick, perfect. And then Prompt finding just the right place to squeeze it through a couple of defenders. And could we be heading towards that 2-2 scoreline once more, Max?
It only seems fitting, right? It does only seem correct. Granted, That would only mean one goal in the next, 100 seconds for it to happen. A fourth time in a row. And maybe that goal comes the other way. Keckles can't drop it in. Laxton now in a bit of trouble. Hawk doesn't quite win the 50 in a way to secure a goal. In fact, it's coming back to the other side. Nerve high and around. Laxton waiting underneath. Light touch goes straight to the opponents. That was risky. Keckles has to dive back and tries to put it in a safe spot. But I'm seeing 3 orange cars on the hunt. Defense continues to play keep away. And I think they're safe for now.
Yeah, the clearance does give them a chance to just set back up. And it might give them a chance to find another goal here. A 3-1 lead will ruin my hopes of a 2-2 scoreline, but also I think just start to put this out of sight for them. Nerve, if they can get another, it feels like that's when they start to really run away. That's exactly what they did in the previous game. For Elliott, though, into the corner. Good pass soft towards Hawk. Just couldn't quite connect once more. And Prompt waiting patiently on that boost. Just gets it in time. But it was probably too late. So just making that slight bit more awkward. Through the corner once more. Elliott leaves it for Prompt. He looks for the play towards Hawk. Laxton with a touch. Hawk into the center. And that's played away from Nerve once more. We're starting to see more chances go the way of Nokar. They haven't quite capitalized just yet. But they're starting to build up to potentially, the last minute or so tying this up.
Yeah, minute 20 remaining. Ball caught by Elliott. It's going to fall to Hawk. Here we go. Prompt backboard. What has he got? He's got a teammate in Elliott who won the 50 but couldn't put it accurately on. Prompt doesn't burn the boost, so doesn't find the shot. And now with a minute 5 remaining, it's going to be Elliott again, looking to go centered. Read by Keckles. Prompt trying to maintain possession. Actually gets a big beat. But the defenders are there. 1 minute to go. Finally a 2-1 scoreline. But that's just because it was a little bit delayed. 2-all with 55 seconds to go.
These script writers need to find something new because I'm sick of seeing 2 all games. We need something else. We need maybe 3 all games could potentially excite me a little bit more. But as you say, slightly delayed, just on the minute mark, not quite there. But it still feels like it's just the same repeat over and over again. Last time it was Nerve to run away with the scoreline after this point. Can they do it again, or will we head towards that tied-up series?
I mean, you know what we need to mix it up, and it's not 3-all. It's the other direction. We need that nil-all again.
Yeah.
That's what we got
Save
to
it
be
for Game 7.
True. All right. Spoilers, but anyways, here we go. 30 seconds left. Keckles, corner, up and around, tried to drop it down to a teammate, but nobody is there. Surprisingly, we've seen the scoreline before. We've yet to see that OT. As Hawk throws it across, Nerve waits underneath. Tries to go middle of the field. Prompt is there, throwing it down from underneath. Here comes Elliott, too slow. Keckles gets behind it, but a third attacker. No, Hawk doesn't want to commit. Prompt has to play defense, but here comes the approach. It is all Team Nerve. Down to Keckles. Birthday shot denied by Prompt.
It feels like that OT might just happen here unless, Elliott went way too early to that play, didn't he? It does touch down. We finally do have an overtime, and this feels absolutely critical for Nokar.
Yeah, Nokar needs this one, and they got the dream kickoff. Here comes Prompt. Keckles gets there first, keeps it high in the corner, has a midfield help in Laxton. They try to get it to him, but the pass is too far out in front. But it still leads to a shot. Prompt back in the net, gets the save. Keckles now, out-muscled by Prompt. Laxton still gets there, full boost, full defenders. Might not matter, as the third one does find the ball. Here comes Keckles again, into 2 defenders. Double commit, Laxton shot, and that's game.
It felt like that probably was just all too simple. Not quite a double commit. Hawk started driving, backed out of it, but by the time he made that choice, it was all too open at the back line. And I said it feels like if Nerve win that, they might just secure themselves a very confident feeling heading into the next game. And I feel like they might just secure the next after that performance. Nokar found something, but it simply wasn't enough.
Again, one of the weird things that was kind of brought up, and I'm looking towards right now, the coaching staff from Nokar. Yep. Is it time? Is it time for the timeout? Because this is a team with a coach. They've lost 2 in a row. Typically, rules state, lose 2 in a row, drop the timeout.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say all players have readied up, so I'm not expecting it to come through. But it feels like in OCE, the teams that have coaches are the only teams to call timeouts. So if there's a team to call a timeout here, you'd expect it to be this Nokar roster. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be the case, which is pretty disappointing. It's not what we want to see. I mean, I love to see timeouts. I feel like every single event, I'm saying, why isn't this team calling a timeout? And this is exactly the moment. I mean, even when you're 2-1 down, potentially, you're feeling like, okay, we can just keep the momentum going back in our favor. 3-1 down, they had their moments. It just wasn't enough. But I feel like they're almost there, right? It's those 2-2 games. They've gone to OT there. There's an opportunity to find something. They just don't. And they don't call the timeout. It feels like the same story for any team over and over again in OCE. Just do it. Just call something. It hasn't been done here.
I mean, I wanted the timeout after game 2 from both teams, to be honest, in this series. But credit where it's due. When things have gotten a bit more chaotic, the more disciplined team has been nerfed, and that's a big reason why they're up 3-1 in the series right now, with the chance to push themselves to yet another top 6 performance, something that they've been so consistent at. Again, though, like, one last thing on the timeout thing, too. You watch any other esport, you watch other regions, they call timeouts. I don't know what it is about OCE and why we're so allergic to it, but I digress. We got to move on. There's a game happening. This could be the final game, realistically, for NoCar. If they can't win this one out, here we go. A shot. No shot. I thought that was set up for Keckles, but they were too far back.
Yeah, it's just not quite connected at the moment. They've looked the better connected team so far in this series, and just not quite there. Now Keckles might have a chance. Well, left Laxon alone at the back, ends up actually flinging himself at the ball and gets enough with the touch. Elliot, that shot wide of the mark. Nerve will move into the corner, and this feels like a return to potentially, as long as Nerve get across the line here, a way to just settle the ship. As I sort of mentioned in the pre-show, that for them, it's just a matter of looking pretty consistent here. I feel like if this does go the distance to a Game 7, you start going, you know, are they back? Can they find an answer to that very horrible situation they put themselves in last event? And I feel like right now, a 4-1 series, if they close out here, will definitely start to feel as though, okay, maybe we return to normality, as that one just doesn't quite connect again.
Elliott has had a couple shots go wide so far. Problem with the reset, though. Laxon just reads it, and ball back to midfield. Now here comes Keckles. That's a great little touch. Elliott forcing an awkward spot, lets it ride. Now finds the play, gets it around Nerve. Still 2 defenders there, and Keckles burns all the boost for a very good read. Opens the door back the other way, so back and forth we go. Nerve with the chance, getting some bumps from Laxon. Nearly gets the complete 3-card pinball, but not to be the case this time.
Hawk, well, Elliot was waiting for that touch, didn't quite find what he needed. Keckles steps by, does really well just to keep the pace here. Might find the bump, couldn't quite. Now Nerve trying to center this ball. It's a very nice first touch. The second just couldn't get over the top of Hawk. Laxon might drop it towards Keckles, and that play has been so consistent. Laxon looking for Keckles towards the top of the box, just not quite finding the goal on that occasion. Half the game gone, and this feels like potentially, you know, we might see a different scoreline here. Maybe not that 2-2, because normally we see these goals go in flying early on. It's not been the case here.
Yeah, I mean, there really hasn't been too many close attempts outside from a couple touches out of Elliott from either team with 2 minutes still to go. Defense, though, has been looking more composed on the Nerve side. It feels like the game has been more in their hands, but we'll see. When it's this close, all it takes is one mistake or one amazing play, a double commit, might lead to something, yet Laxon finds the hole in the midfield, and now trying to push it forward, gets a wheel on that, sets up Keckles. Nerve is the player to watch out for, though. Where is he? It's all Keckles' body with the late lead.
He has been on fire in this series, hasn't he? Just another one for the highlight reel, just forcing it through on Hawk. He is having, I mean, we keep saying it, but he's having such a happy birthday right now.
Yeah, the birthday buff doing wonders for Keckles and co. Team Nerve. Oh, so close to putting this series away in a 4-1 victory. Really would just define this team, I feel like, as maybe being a tier above the rest of the bubble. Like the solid, I suppose, number 5 team of the power rankings. If those
what a shots! It's just another highlight reel play this time. It's the old prodigy. As Hawk finds the angle, the mechanics on show there, isn't it, Justin? It's just another one. It's so good. It's coming alive at the moment on Parc de Paris, and the mech is on display.
Look, it might not be 2-2, but it's still a tie game. with just about a minute to go. Some things never change. Hawk keeping no car in this one. Ball gets centered though. Oh, weird touch from Keckles. Sets up Elliott, who maybe was a bit too fast to the ball. It's going to be allowed to fall. Keckles versus Hawk. That's awkward.
Oh.
That's an open net. Prompt's just going to drop it in, and it's a late lead for No Car.
It felt like we were just heading towards a series win for Nerve. And it's been turned around so quickly. Laxon couldn't get back. He was so close. At 2-1 now, 53 seconds remaining. It feels like, hey, maybe we could see that expected 2-all scoreline if Nerve can find something. Which, I mean, to be honest, based on this series so far, I think they could. But at the same time, No Car in this position, if they want to find a way back into this series, it's an absolute must-win. There's no way about it to continue on otherwise. But right now, this is looking so good if they can hold on for the final 30.
And we'll see if they can, though. It's going to be a big ask, I feel like. Seeing a lot of accurate touches from the blue side. Yet another goal here would just put the dagger in, and Prompt doesn't want to commit, so they stay patient.
It's open.
The ball gets delivered. Okay, 3-1. That's game set.
I said I was sick of the 2-all scorelines. The scriptwriters threw it out. They've just gotten another one here just to secure it. I feel like 21 seconds not long enough to turn it around, unless we see some magic on the kickoff, which I'm not quite ruling out, but at the same time, it's going to have to be something pretty special, and I don't think it's going to lead to it. Laxon looking to provide just a spark. The pass off towards Keckles, not going to be good enough, and that means we're heading to another game.
Now get set up. We're going to the greatest parking lot in the world, Neo Tokyo, on deck as Keckles does get one more to get, make it a 2-3. The birthday boy has to keep getting points, fair enough. He's got to stop scoring these sick goals with 0 seconds that mean nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the other one that he scored at 0 was probably slightly more impressive than this one. It was also in a win for their team that occasion, which, meant maybe it was slightly a bit better, but I mean, we see 2-3 and it feels like, yeah, we probably went to a 2-all. We didn't. That last second goal just didn't really mean much here. No Car, I liked that from them. They looked so much... I mean, it looked like the start of, I think it was game 2 where they looked pretty solid, and they didn't... Actually, it might have been game 3 where they looked very solid and just couldn't close it out. This time, they looked pretty solid at the start. By the midway sort of mark through the game, they start getting those goals going in their favor. It starts feeling like they can build something from it, which they absolutely do. And I mean, 3-1 is difficult to fight back from. It's difficult to win those 3 in a row. But off the back of that, they'll be feeling pretty good, and they might be looking ahead and thinking, hey, we can take the next 2.
I mean, that's definitely what they're going to be hoping for, but I don't know. I look at the game and I look at the stats, and I feel like, yeah, No Car had more attacking pressure, but until that final minute and a half, I was still very impressed with how Nerf was handling the pressure and handling the defense. Yep. It only really got away from them at the end, and I guess to go back to that 0-second goal, it doesn't mean much. No, not really, but I'd almost rather a 0-second goal in a loss than a 0-second goal in a win, because that could be the start of the momentum shift going into game 6, especially when you're not taking timeouts, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking that momentum straight into this one. I think if we go to a game 7, all bets are off. But right now, at least in my eyes, based on how that last game was played, edge probably still on Team Nerve.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I feel like, I mean, I've said that OCE will not call timeouts, but I really hope for OCE's sake that if this goes to 7, that Nerve do call a timeout. I'm not confident they will, but it feels as though, going to a game 7 again, if they lose, then maybe it's just something that starts playing on the mind of these players for Open 6, and that's not something you like. I mean, you spoke about having a mark on you really, Laxon, with that own goal, potentially something to stick by him for some time. A win here, potentially tomorrow as well. There's a chance they play 8 in the semi-final, in the quarterfinal rather. There's a chance to make something happen to put them forward to that top 4. If they can do that, then that mark is gone. People will maybe not forget it, but it's something that, hey, we've just improved. We got better. We made something happen off the back of a mistake. But if they lose here or go to game 7 and make it look awkward, then that thought is definitely still on the mind of not only the fans, but also the players.
I feel like if you really want to change the narrative in the immediate future, you got to win this regional. I think that's what it's going to have to take for Laxon. Although Almost got the triple reset we were talking
good.
about before. Still sets up Nerve, and that's a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and I'm okay with this from Laxon. I'm very okay with it from Laxon, to be honest. But
so
this
close.
play, the mechanical, it doesn't quite end up going in for him. But I don't mind when that happens and he sets up a teammate. I think that's when he looks his best. And potentially on Neo Tokyo, that's what he's looking to step up to. And finding a play like that might just give them a very solid base to play off in Game 6.
All right. Conspiracy theory time, Monty. Do teams not take timeouts when they know that Guru is currently reffing? And I won't elaborate further than that. Yes
Okay.
or no?
I could see it.
I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I could absolutely see it. You're onto something there.
Anyways, here we go. Hawk, midfield, touch. Ashley going to try to stay with it without boost. Didn't have much of a choice. Laxon has that read now coming back the other way. Keckles across. Elliott will chase underneath.
And they're trying to get a second here. It'd be very much in tune with the rest of this series to get a second on the board and potentially, well, then concede a couple before the last minute. Doesn't look as though it'll be the case just yet. We move towards that halftime mark, and at the moment, that 1-0 advantage looking good, but the 1-1 is looking absolutely tasty as they get a chance here from the side. Hawk forces it home.
I love that pass. So decisive, so on point. Well done from Elliott here. Bang, Hawk. Full trust in the team. Outpaces Nerve. That is what you want to see from a team looking to make a comeback.
It's just the way that they would have liked it to happen, maybe, without conceding the first, but it is a good chance for them here and maybe even extending the lead again, which we saw in the previous. They were down 1. They turned it around to make it 2-1 very, very quickly. Extended it out towards 3-1, and by the end of the game, it was all done and dusted, as Prompt will play that away from the corner, from the goal towards the corner. Laxon puts the pressure on, wants to get around again, might just leave this one. Low boost, pushing forward at the moment from Nerve, and he will take the challenge. Elliott through the corner once more. Good 50. Hawk set up from the sidewall, has a play towards Prompt, he's up quick, doesn't connect with it. Laxon with the stop.
Pressure still on, though. No car. Now finally start to retreat back. They're going to go for the midfield challenge, but it's against Laxon. You don't win those, buddy. It will come back to bite, and bite it does. 2-1 lead for Team Nerve.
The speed here from Laxon to get up for that first touch, to beat out the defender on the back wall, to make it 2-1. It felt like Nokar had somewhat taken the ascendancy in this game. It felt like they might have been the one to score the next. But at any moment, that's what we know Laxon can provide, something of the highest quality, and he does exactly that. And I mean, we might just be seeing yet another 2-all scoreline unless Laxon has something to do with it, which he couldn't there. Still Keckles missing. Nerve will play off the back wall. Pressure mounting. I don't think it'll lead to too much as Laxon clears off the back wall.
Here we go. Laxon straight into Prompt, but no follow-up. Keckles, in fact, just going to put a shot on. Defense was there, but with that demo onto Hawk, and then a demo on the other side, but a commit from Elliott. Yeah, we're just not getting any forward momentum right now from the no-card side. Elliott has to commit with a cheat, gets the second touch down in the corner, and with the demo on Prompt, not much more this orange side can do, and these attacks are fizzling before they even get started right now, Monty.
Yeah, they're just not creating anything of substance once they move past that halfway line, but Nerve will put that one home. It's very similar to what we saw last, but again, it's flipped on its head, and it just feels like it's getting away from them. Now Hawk getting the bump on his teammate, all too open at the back line, and minute remaining. I don't think there's too much time for Nokar to find something. It's going to have to take something spectacular.
These are always my favorite moments, though, and they should be everyone's. Down to series on the line. What can you bring? No longer able to hold much back. Nokar, what have you got? Hawk over the top of one. Gets the boost stolen away, so this attack should be sustained, but Prompt is unable to control the middle of the field, which puts so much more pressure on Elliott, who also just is not going anywhere. Guys, you've got less than a minute. You got to get the move on. Hawk understands the assignment, but can't put it on target.
Yeah, but they keep the ball in the half that they absolutely needed in. Keckles, well, he has an answer to that question. And Laxon will just slow it down here. No need to add another to the tally. Just happy for the clock to tick on down. A chance on the break. Prompt has Elliott just to play off of, and it does end up flicking it up, but it's too close to Laxon. Counter-attacking, and it's going to be half the home goal. It's a 4-1.
there it is. You thought we'd have a series without one of these? Come on, you should know us better than I now. Bang! Double touch off the post to put this series away for their opponents. 4-1, and we are done, Monty. It's going to be Team Nerve once again going to the top 6.
Well, the good news is we have we're on course at the moment for a top 5 fails for tomorrow, which is fantastic. But for this Nerf side, that will be a big relief just to get back to winning ways. And I mean, we didn't quite see what I would have liked from Nokar in terms of taking us to a game 7. Putting that pressure on Nerve could have been oh so critical in the matchup. But overall, Nerve returned to form. I mentioned it in the previous game as well. Potentially a matchup with 8 tomorrow in the quarterfinals. They'll be eyeing that and going, that is our chance now to make a top 4.
Yeah, I mean, they've been feeling due for a while, Monty, and I'm happy to see them back in that position to gun for it again. Looking at the Nokar side, good individual moments, but they never felt like a team, to be quite frank. At least not for, long, consistent periods of time. Like, very slow in getting started. Hawk and Prompt constantly in each other's way.
Yeah.
I like what Elliot was doing, but if this Nokar team is going to make that jump to fight for top 4s and top 6s consistently, they need to find that team cohesion.
Yeah, I mean, it felt as though for this Nerf side as well that maybe not quite lax in getting back to exactly what we want to see from him, but it was a movement in the right direction. He started making those plays. He started looking better. He's looking mechanical again, and we've seen an own goal. What more could you really ask for from this series? But I think overall for Nerv, I'm very happy to see them back to winning ways. It's just a matter of, I mean, tomorrow potentially the nerves of going up for a top 4 again could get the better of them. As you said, for Nokar as well, it felt like sort of 3 players rather than a team of players out there. And I mean, I feel like we kind of expect that with the players on the roster. I think we can see these solo plays expected from them. I would have liked to see something more just slightly joined together from them. There was a couple of occasions, but it wasn't consistent enough. But overall, Nerv, I think they had their moments, their shaky moments, but they looked pretty solid.
That they did, and I'll be looking forward to see what they can do tomorrow. But we're only just starting for today. Up next, You're Not a Champ taking on Take Flight. 2 teams that also have top 6 and beyond expectations put to their players. We'll see which of them can advance to Sunday when we return.
Time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to.
in another week it will be not.
Get it while it's hot.
Game 1 in the books, and yet we still have to eliminate another team before going into our upper bracket. First series was a bit of a fun one, and now we've got, the two jesters of OCE back with us to talk about that lead us into the next game.
What the? I'm actually pretty proud of Formal right now. He doesn't talk about the positive. He says, we're about to eliminate another team. We're looking forward to that.
He's like, let's
Now
find a couple more losers. Who's with me? I mean, come on, Formal. Let's find the people that are going to make their way through to Champ Sunday. Focus on the winning team, not the guy
I'm
that's going to get
focusing
eliminated.
on the stakes, okay? Nobody likes the hand-holdy, everybody wins. They like definitive winners and definitive eliminations as we get closer to the end. And these are two teams that expectations would be to make Sunday. They don't want to get eliminated right now. The rosters are stronger than that. Take flight. Why are they always in this lower bracket, Yummy? Why are they always here?
Well, at some point they've always lost. That's the reason why. Often it's been on the Friday, unfortunately. Last event, they did manage to go through the upper bracket, but I don't know what it is. Just every now and again, or maybe too regularly in the group stage, they are losing to somebody that they realistically shouldn't be. It was 8 yesterday.
Yeah, but we can cut them a little bit of slack. There is a lot of, we say there's a lot of talk. We know that Amphis has basically snapped his clavicle, his collarbone off the bone. Well, can you snap a bone off the bone? He snapped He snapped a bone. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Not off the bone. That makes sense. He's in a little bit of discomfort, to say the least, looking at the X-rays that he was posting all over socials. So he had a bit of a day off, had to get a sub, had to get Tins to sub in, but then he played yesterday. So I'm going to cut him some slack, the fact they did drop a game, Yummy, because one guy's got a broken shoulder.
Isn't the clavicle the equivalent of a wishbone on a chicken? So has he got his wish? Is he going to get some luck from that today?
Would the luck be surviving yesterday?
What I want to know is, how do you do that playing soccer? I mean, you're not meant to really have any contact in that sport, aren't you?
I thought soccer could get pretty violent. I mean,
I was just going to say, Amphis is the kind of competitor. He's going to go all out. He's going to randomly crash tackle somebody, surely, just to try and get that dub. That's why he's here today, playing with a broken shoulder.
W.
Well, I mean, the good news is he's here, but he's not the only one, maybe the only one with the broken bone, but not the only one playing. And while we've been talking about Take Flight for a while, you're not a champ, you're a clown. This is a team that's been bouncing around. Again, a lot of familiar names, but nobody who's made that deep run in a while here, Yummy. Is this the best opportunity to them right now to maybe get that top 4 run again?
They are the gatekeepers, and if I recall correctly, which is highly unlikely, they were the ones to take down Take Flight in the very first event of the season. Do not double check
That sounds right.
accuracy on that one.
We'll back you in.
But they were the gatekeepers. They still are the gatekeepers. They are expected to be making top 6s, though if Moni is to believe, Mock isn't playing today, which might be, as I'd say, an upgrade, or it might be to their detriment.
Hey, you would definitely say an upgrade. We're hearing that Misty's going to be subbing in, which is a massive upgrade for you, Cheeseman. Can't wait to see your thoughts on this one. Let us know in the chat as well who you guys are predicting. But I feel like Take Flight are the favourites, outside of the fact that Amphis, I mean, how much is this affecting him? This is a 50-50 matchup, even though they've got a sub.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a tight one. So, who are you picking, CJ? I mean, we know where Yummy's going. That's not a dramatic. It's your pick's the weird one.
Well, I know where Yummy's going, so I'm going to go the other way because I love going against him. And I think we've got a broken bone buff coming in for Amphis. Okay. We saw the clips in the top plays. We saw the reset corner double. If we get to Utopia Coliseum, that's an automatic win. It's not you, Formula, it's me. Give me Take Flight.
All right, fair enough. I guess I've been told what I'm predicting. Let's put a caveat. I'm predicting you're not a champ if Misty's playing. I'm predicting Take Flight if Misty's not playing.
That's a fair caveat, and I think I also had my prediction given to me as well, so give me Take Flight on this one. Who doesn't like, the injured player rising up to get a surprise win or two, although you might call them the favorites in this instance. Either way, both these teams, top 6 at minimum. Take Flight, realistically, they want to go even further. They want to win one of these regionals, but they have to go up against the toughest lower bracket opponent they may find. So, heading on to the field, Take Flight, you're not a champ, lead us in.
We're not singing this one. We're not singing this one, Yummy. We're just going to come in as the professional duo because those two are an absolute rabble, Formula Money.
I couldn't believe it. And remember when Moni just came in with the U's at the end of it? I was just really disappointed as well. Not just with the unprofessionalism, but the lack of singing quality. But let's get into the quality match. We've got the broken bone versus the broken team. One with a sub, one without a collarbone. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like it's going to be the champs.
It's going to be the champs. It's going to be the broken team. And Misty has subbed in.
What a
and
setup.
Look at your
Oh
boy
my God.
with a pop reset into a bump. Are you kidding me?
That is as good as it possibly gets from a regular player, let alone a sub. We might be seeing a Turbo Pulsar-esque run coming here from the Misty. I'm calling it already 10 seconds in.
Yeah, this is no regular play, though. This is a superstar Misty. We saw one event 4 years ago. Look at that.
Well,
what has he done here?
He's certainly done something. He's been involved. It's an own goal, ladies and gentlemen. It's bounced it on the ground. It's unfortunately unbuck off the back of his car. We know Misty wouldn't normally make a mistake like that, so let's just call it nerves.
That is very Turbo Pulsar-esque, though, if you're going to keep that kind of comparison running along throughout the entirety of the weekend. What a start for Misty. He set up the first 2 goals, scored the second as well. Couldn't be going any better for the super sub for the champs, but Early defense coming through for Take Flight. They're in a little bit of trouble, Amphis. Just going to be on watch for him, to see how the mechanics are. He has to be a little bit inhibited by that broken collarbone, surely.
I would expect that. But does a collarbone make you do that?
Why does this always happen?
Guys, I broke my collarbone. Let me do this.
Once again, rotating straight into net. no questions asked. A direct line into his own net. Amphis has own goal probably for the 5th time this year.
I want to dispute that fact, CJ, categorically, because technically that was a scrub own goal because Amphis hit it a scrub. Scrub was the last to hit it. Amphis has got a perfect game going.
Wow, what a start. We've had 3 goals, 2 own goals, 1 for either team. No damage done, if you look at it that way, as champs take the lead. Fades with the 50. Amphis hits it the right way this time. That is step 1. My goodness, where do you go from there as a team when you see that happen on both sides? Do you think we suck on both ends?
Yeah, I've said it. I've seen it a lot. At least fortunately for now, sort of the integrity of the competition is still alive because both teams have made sure to own goal horrendously so far.
Yeah, I like the gaslighting situation from Amphis as well. He probably sighed when, scrub, own goaling again. we'll see.
Don't blame me, I have a broken collarbone. It's
I've
your
got a broken
fault.
collarbone. Not my fault. We'll see what happens here. 3 minutes to go. Game 1 almost off the roof. Really a ripping play there from Scrub. Down the right end this time. Misty with a huge 50 though. We'll be able to steal that quarter boost as well. See if champs can get involved. 50 pinch downfield even. As Dougie just dodges the bump. Actually dusts too. How have they both double commit on this? It's open now with a demo, but he misses.
Just didn't quite have the boost that I'd expect to catch up to that one, though. That's a really rough touch from Amphis. Misty's maybe set it up. Dougie's completely missed the ball. And what looked like an opening. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
What is going on?
Wow.
This is just unreal. Like, Fades is sitting on the back boost going, you know what? Scrub's got this. No, Scrub does not got this.
Yeah, you'd think by, Scrub's probably 5th year of competing, he'd know where the post is, and he'd know the dimensions of the goals. That was nowhere near in. Still convinced Scrub as he headbutts the post. It's a 3-1 lead now for champs. Pretty much gifted a couple with an own goal, and Scrub not the greatest start. As we can see with Dougie missing a couple though, Yummy, both teams not looking warm at all right now.
Yeah, look. I have no excuses. I was trying to think of something. I was like, it's just Misty. It's just the Misty effect. Whenever he's on the pitch, no one can understand what's going on,
Aura.
including Misty.
It's the aura or just a complete and utter confusion, perhaps, with the sub shaking things up. I'm not used to screaming the Misty. That's a nice pass to Scrub, though. He has been quick this time. He knows where the goals are down the other end. It's not quite down his own. It's Misty finds the touch. They've got a 2-goal lead, champs, as I would have them as the underdogs. Oh, hang on a minute. What is happening here? This is the scrappiest game one I think I've seen in a while, and it's saying a lot as we do watch a lot of OCE gameplay.
A lot of reactionary players where the ball is just bouncing around and they're so close to each other. I mean, look at that. Fades and Scrub both on top of each other for that play. No time to react on any touch that could possibly happen. And that's causing a lot of this chaos as we see some more chaos. And you know what, CJ? I'm going to count this one as an own goal.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's have a look.
It's an orange trail.
I'd say the orange trail is in Misty's favour, but it's a beautiful bump into Fades. It's a beautiful shot as well. I'm not sure how that's happened. This is probably 4 of the most unusual goals and 1 regular, as it is 3-2 and still time for Take Flight. I'd say it's an important game, but I'm not sure even winning it is a positive. I just don't know where the mindset is for both teams right here.
Look, if you get the win, then you know that you got to get away with a freebie. And, well, after Champs had a 2-goal lead and it was looking very neat for them, we finally see what is more of a traditional goal, except this isn't an own goal. This is an own pass.
That's an incredible infield from Misty. That's exactly where Amphis wanted the ball. As he took it off him, sniped Fades with the pass and finds the shot. As another one on net. This time Dougie is up for the save. It felt like Champs were going to lock this away 3-1. All of a sudden it's 3-3 and it feels like the advantage is for Take Flight.
Well, we just don't know what's going to go on with this next goal. It's tied up game. Whoever own goals next will lose. And it is looking like a chance here for the champs. Amphis has to rush up from in front. No boost really left on that defense. So it's a great touch from Fades. Keep this ball alive for Take Flight. Really going to get much from this as Dougie gets demoed for his effort. It's really awkward for the champs, but also awkward for the Take Flight. Here's the shot coming in. No, just a little late.
His positioning is just incredibly off from both teams. Pretty slow gameplay so far. There was a chance though for the champs to Take Flight, get the last crack at this. It's a beautiful 50.
Oh.
Scrub has to jump, gets a nice read this time. As they will be wanting to find the ground, the champs, and they get it down. We do get overtime. It kind of felt fitting that we can't split these two, as it has been probably equally shambolic from both sides.
Great word and a great game. Fade just avoids that bump. It was incredibly close in this early overtime. Even still, this is the dicey moment. Dougie tries to fake underneath. Fades, reading that he never had too much on that one. Another shot, and that's an incredible angle, Misty!
Your boy Misty, MVP performance. The scoreboard says he scored 1. He scored 2 for sure, and the winner, my goodness, off the post to himself. Bar down, Dougie was there in case, and the champs, in a thrilling first game of just quality Rocket League, get the job done.
When we talk about all-round performances, I don't think I've seen a more rounded performance than what we had from Misty. An own goal, a fantastic solo goal, an own pass, a game winner right there. It's just incredible how much of effect he had all over the pitch.
Yeah, it was so well rounded in terms of his team selection as well. He just really was just going back and forth throughout that game, not just deciding whether he was on blue or orange team. Eventually, he found his way. He realised that the blue team and the orange net was where he wants to be shooting towards. Finds the overtime winner, as well as a beautiful infield pass to set up the equaliser from Take Flight, looking at the highlights. But, I mean, all's well that ends well. They get the job done. They get the overtime win.
Well, we talk about Turbo Pulsar. We talk about the RLCS Season 3 Grand Final coming into sub. It looked like the same gameplay as well, and that's what we wanted to bring you in OCE. It's a great start.
Yeah, it's I don't know if Amphis is throwing people off. He's got a broken collarbone. They think he's going to be missing the ball, but that was incredibly slow gameplay. I'm going to put it down to a game 1 warm-up from both teams, and I want to go into game 2 incredibly optimistic about, optimistic,
I have an idea, CJ.
if you would.
I reckon we could have made this game a little bit more even. Just have Amphis and Misty off on the sides, just play it as a 2v2. Then you don't have the sub questions, you don't have the broken clavicle questions, you just have Rocket League in its purest form.
I believe that this may be Rocket League in its purest form, though, Yummy Cheese Man. That's the problem. The own goals, there's something beautiful about it, and that's what makes OCE great. That's what makes the upside down land back to front, because we do like scoring in any net. As Amphis this time, the collarbone holds up, or maybe it's not holding up, but either way, he is finding some defensive plays to get the job done for Take Flight.
Yeah, I think we'd find out if his arm suddenly fell off, so I would assume that his collarbone is still holding up as that one hits the crossbar. Rez looks for the pass back to Misty. He goes high on that one. Just the more safe play, I'd say, overall.
Yeah, I think he was trying to shoot that for sure, and that's where you're going to see perhaps the practice coming back to bite him. That's a beautiful first touch though from Scrub, who does get the reset, goes low, gets the maybe a bump as well. Faith comes in and just slams the post, and Amphis might have just been adjusting his what do you call it? What's he got wrapped on the collarbone? The brace. There it is.
I do kind of miss the days, CJ, where we'd watch a player and just not be sure if they had a flip reset or not.
Oh, you don't
now
like
you
it?
see, you kind of know. Oh my goodness, there's the goal. No flip reset required.
No reset required, no reset indicator on screen. Phase just get a complete. It's just an outplay as Misty found himself downfield. You're going to see these guys, positionally just make a few more mistakes. They're not used to screaming together. You got the sub coming in. You're going to see some gaps in the rotation. And right there, Dougie just couldn't get back in time. Misty overcommits a touch, and it's in the back of the net, 1-0.
All I'm saying, CJ, is I miss the intrigue, the allure, the mystery of Rocket League. Now you see how much boost everyone has. You see whether they got a flip reset. You're not going to second guess
Yeah,
yourself
they may as well
as a
just tell us
caster.
who's winning at this point. They're
Yeah,
gonna
and now we have no excuses for all the mistakes we make as commentators as well.
Yeah,
so that's
that's-
even worse.
No, I'm with you, actually. I do know that T-Bates is not a fan at all of the reset indicator. He thinks it's unnecessary. What a job from Scrub, though, as the defense does fall apart this time. Take flight. Maybe they just needed that first game warm-up, because Amphis off the roof with a reset is an incredible pass.
That's an absolute ripper from Amphis. What a turnaround from game 1 to game 2. Off the ceiling flip reset. A 2-0 lead here for Take Flight, and a good comeback without a timeout needed.
We are hearing from the chat that you are just an old man yelling at a cloud. Not a fan of the new updates. Yummy, what are your thoughts on that?
I am an old man. I am yelling at clouds. But that doesn't mean I'm not correct.
Great update there from Cheeseman, as a man of many wisdoms, some may say.
Yep. Some. Very few.
He may say himself, as Amphis this time gets completely dusted in net. This guy's got 100 boosts. I'm not sure if he's just waiting for the demo or the bump, but surely he's got to know that Rez is getting one more on it. Just caught a little flat-footed.
That's a great way to get back into it. The champs find themselves in a tough position, and it's going to be Rez who should be able to step up in moments like these. Gonna have to do a lot more work throughout the series. I'd assume of all people he's probably still the one putting in the most time and effort on this pitch, but I actually would not know the answer to that because I'm just an old man yelling at clouds.
It's a nice 50 down, as Yummy's just completely making up his own stats about who's playing the most. It's important, but I'd say that's an educated guess based on the fact that Dougie had kind of partially retired and Misty, well, has subbed in, so kind of nearly fully retired. Yeah, so it's probably not a bad call.
He's
from
the only
you.
one who didn't technically retire on the team.
I'll back you in as well. I think Rez should be the man. It needs to step up as well for this team. It's really it's not a bad matchup for them.
Oh, fades.
Fades just tries completely past it, but it has kind of brought the defense out a little bit. Amphis will be able to take that ball. Fades, no, this time just completely misses it. Now Scrub's in a little bit of trouble because he's been removed from the pitch. If Rez was ready, it would have been a 2-2 scoreline, but instead Take Flight get out of danger for free.
I guess you can't play too hard for that demo to go.
wow.
Oh my goodness. A redirect and a half. I've had a few of those throughout today so far. And Dougie brought that off the side. Fakes out. Fades, but doesn't fake him on the second go. Now Misty has his own chance. Beats one. Does he get the angle? Oh no, it's off the post again.
If he scored that, you would have just internally combusted, I think, Yummy. That just would have completely set you off, I think. Misty, your boy, hitting doubles in 2026 is what we want to see. As a 50, the bump comes through. Misty does land on it. He's backwards, but he's found his way. He's trying to force his way through this corner. He's found the bump. Fades gets around him, but the pressure's coming through. There's a minute left, but I'm liking this from the champs. They're looking to push for this equaliser.
I just can't believe you said 2026. It reminds me we're closer to 2030 than we are to 2020. As Rez gets one on, ties up the game. And that is, well, a great comeback coming from the champs.
Yeah, it's just that it's an unnecessary double commit coming through. Scrub wanted to help out, wanted to find the clear, but just gets an incredibly poor touch in the end. And look at the pressure coming through. We've got 11 shots on the board from the champs. They probably deserve their second goal. Just 6 for Take Flight. They've been more of a counter-attack style, relying on mistakes. The mistakes are now few and far between. Champs are warming up.
Mistakes have been costly throughout the series, and that means that if you can avoid taking it and be not in a nice position, but right now, Amphis looking to get this one around. Goes off the roof. That's where he's dangerous. Does he have enough? He's got the extra touch. It is a pass. And Misty, of course, comes to save the day. He has to do it again. Another save from Misty. What more can he do back here? Well, he has to do something because there's going to be another shot. No, it's Rez to save it. Now it's a huge counterattack, an open opportunity, and Scrub arrives back in time.
Great pace from Scrub. It's got to be Dougie. He has to get it around. The double is huge as well. What's a play from Dougie? Amphis backs off. One last crack. Take Flight. 50 comes through. Is anybody up? It's a double commit. It's Fades for the open net. Fades goes bang.
They need to stop giving Amphis room. Whenever he has, he's been able to do something brilliant. This time, air dribble 50 for an incredible angle from Fades. And that should be the win for Take Flight.
That's simply lovely, showing the mechanics, stepping up, showing that game one may have just been a warm-up as well. 1 second left. Misty's popped it straight up the wrong way. Dougie keeping it alive. Rez, he's missed the ball. Dougie looking to control. Ball still is going to be up. Misty's pre-jumping, but he's missed.
Seems like a bit of a Season 3 dribble there. And the pre-jump may have been unnecessary, but Take Flight, hold on. A little scare there at the end as Champs, as Take Flight tied up with Champs.
Yeah, I'm thinking now Take Flight can really settle into this series and start kicking into overdrive. You'd expect them to be the favourites. Obviously, Misty subbing in creates a bit of intrigue, maybe a little bit of the element of the unknown when you're playing a team like that is subbing in. A little game one peak. Unfortunately, Misty was kind of peaking for both teams, but now I think Take Flight hitting their straps. The mechanics on display is clearly in Take Flight's favour.
And also incredible to see Amphis, despite his condition, having such a breakout performance here in Game 2. Maybe not as hardly affected as we first may have thought. As, we haven't seen as much of Amphis popping off in recent times. And, it's always a bad sign for his opposition when he starts.
Yes, we often do wonder what is going on inside Amphis's brain at times, but now we do know that he is indeed physically impaired as well, Yummy. So,
You can't say that. We're literally on a PG stream. You're usually the best one of this. That's a formal type thing to say.
I'm just saying that Amphis is a chaotic player. You don't know where he's going to be. He sits downfield.
Run it back. He just owned gold. What can he do to tie it back up?
But an incredible player. Obviously now has some things. He's got a physical impairment, so we'll see how he plays. But it's great to see that he is performing well, and we love him.
It was fine for you to say he has a physical impairment, but we'll move on to the Game 3 and see if he can keep popping off as credible goals from him. Rez has been probably that player in the last game that was keeping Champs well and truly in it. So maybe up to the likes of Misty and Dougie to pop off. And speaking of, Dougie gets the first goal.
Yeah, it's Dougie time. That's a nice top right corner. Had a chance to be saved. She can see Amphis had to dodge the bump from Misty. Scrub had a chance, perhaps off the crossbar, but in the end, the shot was just too good, and Champs not bothered by that 0 second or 3 second game winner from Fades. They're ready to go and make it 2-0, Yummy.
They've done it. Another kickoff goal. And CJ, I'm also proud of you. You've stopped making fun of chat, and now you're just going straight after the players.
Thanks, CJ. Just keep digging a hole. People are telling me to start digging upwards. I'm not sure how you do that, or maybe that is just digging down, but in OCE, the land down under 35 seconds, got on 2-goal lead for Champs. I was expecting Take Flight, honestly, to just put the foot down now, Yummy, but it's not to be. They're still looking a little bit shaky, a little bit rough, and Champs are stepping up.
Still so much time in this game. It's barely been 40 seconds. That means there's plenty of room for the own goals to start occurring. We saw in Game 1 a 2-goal lead given away from the Champs. Went to overtime. Will it happen again? Rez going up the side, trying to keep it safe. Misty, he's just going to back out.
I saw a few people asking what are the other games we've got today. Playoff Saturday, Wildcard still to play, Power still to play, and a 3-goal lead for Champs means they might be playing one of those teams along with the Bulldogs later on as well, so stay tuned for those. We have a serious series here. I mean, I thought Take Flight, I've said it many times, we're just going to run away with this, but Champs, this is their best game yet. They haven't conceded a shot yet.
I just think this is truly your sign as a commentator, You see a couple of good goals, you see one game win, and that's it. That's the series, There's no chance for the other team to ever possibly come back. And it's a real growth moment here for CJ, lads. He's been a player for too long, finally getting in the true mindset of that commentator. And Dougie, been a player for a very long time. See if his experience holds true. Amphis, maybe a chance to go underneath, and yes, it is the dunk. The comeback is on.
Yeah, I understand the idea not wanting to get dunked, but the outcome was getting dunked. Misty had to get that to the wall. He tried to get it behind Amphis, who just sat behind. He was all over Misty. He had every angle covered in the end. He just took too long to get the clear. And Amphis, even though he's got a broken collarbone, he's moving kind of nice.
Yeah, he's clean of it. Maybe he should break his collarbone every week.
I'm not going to recommend
Next week, the other collarbone.
I don't think it's recommended, and but you know, we'll see what happens if they win this event.
This is a real problem, though.
Oh,
He
hang
only
on.
has 2 collarbones.
Oh, hang on, he's just hit it backwards. I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. I don't know why you're trying to keep going down this path. I'm just gonna leave it there and say that Amphis is looking pretty good, and I don't think it's bothering him too much because he's just made another. It's just another goal. They're back.
The collarbone buff, ladies and gentlemen. CJ doesn't recommend you follow his footsteps at home, but he's started to make a good case here. Amphis is having probably the series of the year for him.
Yeah, we do not recommend any injuries of the kind.
Bone maxing, that's exactly it, lads.
Not bone maxing. As well, right now, Amp's got a broken collarbone, and Champs are looking collarbone right here. They're getting absolutely cooked after the 3-goal head start, and I'm starting to feel like my prediction of Take Flight stepping up is... Oh, hang on. He's looking all right. But aside from that own goal. Oh, hang on. Yeah,
Oh, he's incredible. He's got 2 saves as well after setting up those 2 goals. Amphis is having an incredible series, but the pressure is still on here for the Champs. Dougie has to try and do something to stop Amphis, who's running all the way up the pitch. Oh my god, Amphis! He can't be stopped! He can't be stopped at all!
Wow, how did he get through everyone? Dougie just needed a challenge. He was just walking down the line with him and then got dusted for free. The respect on this guy is ridiculous. Amphis gets another double. This 50's right in front of net. Is anyone home? It's going to be Dougie first. Fades up the wall. Leaves it for Amphis, who just wants the ball. He's just doing anything he wants out here on this pitch. He's looking so confident.
Has anybody got a sledgehammer or something? I want to go back to Worlds.
So once again, we're not condoning injuries to be better at Rocket League, but in this case, it's hard to argue against. The scrub is pushing forward. Doesn't get the touch. That's a nice pop from Rez. He has been dusted by this man, Amphis, though, who does get the flip over the top. Off the ceiling. Fades, look for the infield. Has a corner run out. Rez makes the save.
Oh, it's now a lot on the shoulders of Amphis as he has the last man back and manages to just keep enough pressure on Dougie to prevent that 4th goal, which would have sealed the deal. 50 seconds left. Scrub gets dunked. They need to get down to the other end, and it's the man of the hour. Amphis gets it past one. Rez stops him from getting the follow-up.
Amphis having to carry the weight of the world. He's got a lot on his shoulders. I tell you what he doesn't have right now is one of the collarbones connected to it. So he does have his 3 players here with a reset. No, actually, no, he's only got 2 teammates. That doesn't make sense. Trying to do simple math in my head. I'm losing the plot here, Yummy. I'm sick of casting with you as well. 20 seconds left.
What the hell? It's just so out of nowhere. It's just so off the cuff. What did I say?
I just think you take these casts into places I don't want to be, but I'll stay in the pocket with you. I'll stay in the pocket. 10 seconds left. Fades. What can he do? Can we get some magic here for Take Flight? Missy with the 50. He's been bumped out of the way. Amphis around 1.
Oh my
Amphis,
God.
it's a 2-on-1 with a bump. Oh, Dougie huge. Absolutely huge as Rez will find the ground. Amphis could have been the champ, but the champs out-champ him.
Magical moment from the dinosaur Dougie. The back manages to save the day and even top scores. Who would have thought that'd happen in 2026? Not I, but Dougie is back, boys.
Goodness me. Dougie's back, and maybe this is just destined to go Game 7 after that first game of just own goal bonanzas, 4-5, whatever the score was in the end. But Misty looking like the super sub. Dougie clutch at the end, MVP performance. He got a goal, a sausage roll, and 2 saves to his name as well. Really just a well-oiled 3-man machine at the champs at the moment.
And can I get an apology from you, please, CJ?
A what?
An apology.
And for doing what?
you said you hate casting with me, and it was just I can't recover from it.
I didn't say I hate casting with you. I said I'm sick of casting with you because you just you just keep digging a hole. You find an angle and you just keep digging into it, and then I'll stay in there with you because I'll help you out because I'm a team player. But it doesn't mean I'm enjoying it. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, so can you? Okay, this is the timeout. This is like the chat, the team coaching chat. Which angle do you want me to go for this next game? What do I need to do to improve to win the next game as a commentator?
I hate to say this, but I do want you to still be you. So I don't want to say that. I don't want to give you. I don't want to tell you to just be serious because I feel like that's outside your element. You know, of just being professional.
We are heading here into game number 4. Oh, and find out whether the champs will be able to take flight, and Amphis, who's on absolute fire, whether it'll be the old dogs, Amphis, ex-MVP, man on a mission, soloing the entire team.
Do you want me to just do like sound effects or something while you like whoosh?
So I was just trying to find a new angle. I thought maybe like golf or.
Oh, okay. They were doing like okay, yeah. I thought that was actually quite nice. There could be an angle for you with the golf commentaries as Amphis is finding an angle with a double touch. Bang! This guy is destroying everyone. One collarbone, but at maximum brain capacity.
Beautiful angle there from Amphis. Lined up the putt. Just tapped it over nicely, and that's the first goal, par 1 for Amphis.
Par 1? Goodness me, it's a tough golf course. Let me tell you that. Tough to get a birdie around here. But Yummy, can you come back? I actually miss the old you. I don't want to say
Oh,
it.
excellent. That's all I ever wanted from you, CJ, as we get back into some good old-fashioned OCE Rocket League. They've got the own goals out of their system. Amphis is still looking incredible every time he has the ball. I'm always worried for the other, or the champ's net, when he does have any kind of contact with it. Misty's trying to set up a goal here. Champs have finally got some pressure going on after the early attacks from Take Flight.
There's a problem here with Amphis, right? Is, just depending on how placeboed he is. I know the likes of, say, Fever used to get very placeboed cars, presets, how high your monitor is, stuff like that. If he genuinely has the best weekend of his life, it's going to be tough to replicate that later on, given that it could be down to a broken collarbone.
I have seen the CS pros, they get the ruler, they get tape measures out, make sure the desk is the right height, make sure the monitor is the exact same distance. That's a level of precision of collarbone mashing that I don't know if he'll be able to match.
Oh, what are we doing here, Misty? Speaking of just aura from game 1, they've all pre-jumped, expecting him to just slot this home, but he goes the reset behind them instead, Yummy.
That's just improvisation to a key, something I apparently cannot do today. But, man, Misty, I said this earlier, I said, we should have had a 2v2. Without Misty or Amphis. It's actually suddenly become a 1v1 between Misty and Amphis.
That would have been the worst series of all time if we got rid of those two. Because they've been
would have been golf casting the entire time.
That would have been on. But yeah, these two have been on fire. Misty and Amphis. Fades has left that one. Honestly, I can't remember calling Fades' name for a long time. It's just been the Misty show, and it has been the Amphis show. I don't know if anyone else is on the pitch right now. Amphis is downfield, misses that touch that time, but it is 1-1. We're halfway through game number 4. A huge game win as well. If Champs can get this, Fades can't get a shot. Nice save from Rez. They can go 3-1 up here. It'd be crazy.
Certainly would be looking for somebody like Fades to be able to be sort of Amphis' right-hand man, setting up goals. Scrub is very good at getting forward, challenging, getting strong 50s, but hasn't been known for that player with panache like Fades. Dougie, also not for his panache, but Misty got bumped off that one.
He got bumped. I think he was still a chance of saving it, though. Scoring it. As there's the pop. Maybe Rez still around. Misty, does he want to jump? He's going to get involved. And Champs are still keeping pressure on after that chance that did go right. They want their 2-1 lead. They want to grab it right here. Scrub working it down the other end for Take Flight. Rez dodges one bump. He's trying to work it downfield. Amphis, no nonsense, gets demoed. Probably maybe a similar incident of what happened on the soccer pitch last weekend. Fades controls the ball, and we're still at a deadlock with 90 seconds left.
Well, this is starting to get close, and this is an opportunity for Amphis. He doesn't go for the shot. He takes it wide. Dougie's going to get back in time. Kind of understand where Amphis was going with that one, but it does feel like a missed opportunity and a half.
That was just wide open. He went for the solo play. I don't think he realised how slow the rotation was. Dougie's downfield with the redirect to Misty.
Incredible. One of the greatest players of all time, not just in OCE, but in the entire world, Misty. Look at this. Reads his teammate after getting the pass across to him. Nothing special, but it's how you win games.
Great pass from Dougie as well, just to change the angle straight off the ceiling. Meant the guy on the backboard couldn't challenge, had to wait for the shot of Misty, and Amphis just got caught in all sorts. Here's Misty again. He is making the ball talk. The reset, the indicator yummy that you hate. You can see it there. Had one, didn't quite make the touch. A nice challenge from Scrub. But they're really up against it now. 50 seconds away from being 3-1 down in the series.
Have you ever noticed just how much better the indicator looks on Misty, though? He's been spamming that all series. You wouldn't think that he's been semi-retired for a while there, that he's the sub, given the level of mechanics that he's been able to consistently bring out. Rez this time takes a save, pass across, but no one there from Fades. A missed opportunity once again for Take Flight. They're starting to get desperate, and they are starting to send players forward. Scrub looking for his little play over the top, but it's not going to be successful. In fact, it's going to go the other way. Big mistake.
Yeah, 3-1 on the game score, 3-1 on the series score as well. Look at Dougie. He just reads the extra touch from Scrub. Fates had to creep up, wanted to be underneath for the pass play, but it was completely read by the champs, and they're all over them. I would have thought the way Take Flight were looking, the way Amphis was looking, they were going to run away with it. But the champs just having more team play, and Misty, he is that Pulsar super sub.
He truly is. I mean, and this is practically the equivalent of the World Championship too. And though, you know, what do you think of the chances of somebody like the champs making a full run? I think, as a commentator, you see these 3 games, you're meant to say they're going to go the entire way.
I just don't know how you throw out things like this is the equivalent of a World Championships final and then move on, but maybe it is to these guys.
I thought that was almost a given, and I was just saying something obvious.
Yeah, Misty's already been there, done that, you know, as a world champion. He's an RLCS regional champion, you see, with his tag in-game as well. And he put in an incredible performance. I think they can just keep running away with this. I'm going the other way. I thought Take Flight were going to put the foot down. I think that we could see a generational Game 5 from Misty, and the champs can just run away 4-1.
Seeming likely. Rez has had a pretty, we haven't talked about him much, but he's had a really good performance too. That not just in this game, but in the previous game, he was probably a little bit more instrumental than Misty. You have to point out, just somebody coming in as sub and having such an impact. Normally when a sub comes in, we're talking, game 1's going to be tough. They're not going to be able to really figure it out for a while. They haven't got the hours together. But honestly, looks like they haven't missed a step.
And I'm starting to think, you know, if the substitution works so well for the champs, do you perhaps go back to the well and bring Tims in? Is Tims going to be the difference? He did have to sub in when Amphis broke his collarbone day 1. Does he need to come in and just spark some things? Yes, they got to win 3 on the bounce here. This is going to be tough. And this is split on the line as well for a Take Flight team who had a disappointing first event.
Yeah, but with Tims, they also lost 0-3 to 8. So, you know, I think we back up Amphis here, given his performance.
I was thinking sub someone else out because Amphis is looking great. Yeah. I think Amphis is looking great. Maybe, you know, if maybe just a paper scissors rock between Scrub and Fade just to see who can maybe come in and be the difference here. If teams, I'm just throwing some things out there because right now it's not working for Take Flight. They should be better than this. We had them 3-1 on the predictions. You predicted Misty just because you love him, but it's
kind of obvious to me. But yeah, sure.
It's looking smart right now. I'm with you.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. CJ finally admitted it. And we'll see if that truly pans out. You never know how the rest of the series will go. 3-1. Looking on lock. Misty. Maybe he's able to get another one. It wasn't quite too ready to be, but the timing would have been perfect.
I think Rez just saved it. He got the air dribble pump, sat in front of the ball, and just completely blocked the shot. Misty, what more do you want to do? But it was a great setup there from Rez. Still a great start as well overall They can just put
wow.
that behind them. Fades with the clear. Need him to step up. It feels like it's Amphis or nothing, Yummy. That's concerning for me.
He has been a setup player. Fades had that one incredible goal, but for the most part has been very quiet. Scrub, not necessarily having a bad game, but not quite having the impact we usually expect from him. The kind of player that puts pressure on the opponents, that forces out mistakes, that gets insane level 50s. Look at that. That one's just a little pop-up, but no real opportunity to follow on his touch, and now it's gone the other way.
Yeah, Scrub a little awkward, but does control it well. Looking for the dribble, or perhaps to Amphis, who throws it on there. Could have been more top right. That shot was one he definitely won again, as Misty's looking for that counter-attack pre-flip. Can still corner boost as well. Is this going to be a chance to build pressure? But no, it's a beautiful touch, as Amphis has probably had the most outplays of anyone in the lobby in this series so far, but still not too much reward from it in the last couple of games.
It's just the amount of impact he has when, for every single touch that he makes, Amphis, if he's on the ball, you know he's going to at least beat one player, maybe 50 the second, or at least cause a little bit of a scramble. And means that they're in with a much better chance of scoring a goal. That being said, they're still being stuck in the defense for quite a while there. Rez just trying to pop it up, but gets bumped into the ball. Dougie willing to hang back and just give his teammates some room.
They're just showing the little things better here, champs. The outplays, they're looking for 50s, grabbing boost, not panicking, just trying to get the best possible 50 to put their teammate in a better position, whereas I feel like Take Flight are just going for pure outplays, pure mechanical play, which is, it's going to be less reliable to score goal after goal. This FaZe has found a way out momentarily. And even just those bumps there, Misty had no boost jump in. Instead, he just wanted to knock his team off the ball. Having said that, they've overcommitted into the corner getting the bump. With half the game left, they do grab the lead.
They spent way too much time in that corner. Scrub with a brilliant read. And Amphis, as per usual, there to follow up. Something that has at times been missing is just having somebody ready in front of the net. And Amphis, when he's playing his best, we say it all the time, he's going to be close to that opposition net. Scrub almost faked the last.
Nice bump there as Fades has completely missed the ball. It's just going to be Scrub. Misty's chasing the bump. He's alone for a long time. 1-1. Take Flight have overcommitted like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, and Scrub, maybe if he went towards the net, he may have been able to avoid it and get the save, but he tried to go the other way, tried to juke him, and that's all the space that Dougie needed. Now we see a tied game once again in a series that has mostly stayed relatively close. Dougie over the top of one. It's a very good opportunity with Misty in support, but Dougie just plays it safely out from the corner.
Look at the trust of Amphis. He was just pushing downfield as Scrub gets one. Can he get two over the top?
Oh,
you
wow.
betcha. Beautiful solo play from Scrub. Just started with a trust downfield. Amphis gets the 50 that he was looking for, and all three members that Take Flight are looking for the net. Scrub off the roof to himself.
That first touch is so good because you can see why Misty went flying to the right of that ball. For all money, it looked like Scrub was just going to go straight up to the ball and slam it, but he just rotated around behind it to get a different angle, caught off Misty, and still had the wherewithal to get the follow-up.
We'll see with the champs under a little bit of pressure now to close out a series. Can Take Flight build momentum? They have overcommitted again, though. They've looked a little rough. Great save from Fades. So there was no follow-up. Scrub this time does get the clear downfield. Dougie with the drop down. Misty. Oh, where are we going? Take Flight.
I really think that they thought that they had the intercept here. There was one pass, and then Amphis would normally have gone for the intercept. Kind of had to back off. And it's a great pass. 1-2 pass play for the champs. Teamwork getting them in after a series of what has mostly been solo plays from both teams.
You could see the moment, Yummy, that the miscommunication happened. Amphis, as you said, instead of cutting it out, thought Scrub was going to cut out the pass, and then he turned, and Amphis wanted to be that third man. But if no one's there for the pass, it's a wide open net. 2-2 as there's another demo coming through. Misty with the pre-jump. Scrub's got zero boost. Scrub's missed the ball. I think Rez respected the touch that he didn't have.
Well, hasn't punished them just yet, but that could have been the chance for the champs to get in the lead, win the entire series probably off the back of that one as the demo goes out. Dougie over to Misty. This is a scary moment. Rez has to get back, and he hasn't got much boost to deal with it as Scrub steals it away, but even without He's got it all the way down the other end.
Thought they left another gap in the structure. Here it is. Reset Amphis. 2 scrub. That one is deflected away. Both teams looking a little shaky, but overall champs. I like the team play from them. There's the 50. Amphis. 1-2. Dougie has to make a huge save. He does so. The bump doesn't come through and pops it up so Misty can get the clear. He might have saved the game for them.
Oh, they did overcommit a little bit on the defense. And now left a bit empty there. Take flight, almost giving it away after they were so close to scoring themselves. 10 seconds remaining as Rez looks to go around the corner. Scrub can't beat Misty, but no one was expecting him to win that 50.
Great speed from Misty as Dougie. He's going to try and keep this ball up. The ball will bounce actually if the 50 comes through, but we do get another overtime. Champs get a chance to close it out in 5.
This could be a close overtime. Haven't seen an own goal for a while, which makes me a little bit antsy. Dougie gets the little touch, takes it away from Scrub, who's been looking a lot more dangerous in this game. Misty with the second touch, just to keep it in this side and make sure that the defense can't intercept him. Scrub gets 50, but it's in a safe spot here for Take Flight.
Amphis is looking for the pass out. They are low boost. Scrub has to come up huge. He's been dusted. Amphis has 0 with the pop. Rez keeping the ball in. Advantage champs. 30 seconds gone in the overtime as Rez misses the follow-up ground pinch. He was looking for that basketball dribble. Dougie underneath loses that 52. Misty. Scrub throws it across. Amphis is coming off the backboard. Good luck. He does have 0 boost. He has to get out. And this is putting a lot of pressure on those third men as there was a chance that doesn't quite connect.
Misty's gone for 2 pre-jumps in a row. Hasn't worked out, and especially for the first opportunity, he probably didn't need to. We cost them the goal. Still, it is a level of aggression that I like seeing from the champs in this overtime. Not scared at all. Not scared. And Dougie scores. Champs have taken down Take Flight.
It's just way too slow here. Rez recovers and finds the bump. You could just see Scrub not quick enough to take it out of net. They find the bump. It's the 1%ers from the champs all series long. They had the highlight reel goals from Take Flight, but these guys getting bumps, Yummy, getting demos and just finding more team plays. It's a weight of numbers in the end for champs to get the job done.
We can't blame the collarbone as well over there for Take Flight. A tough situation, or maybe Amphis would have scored 2,000 goals if he didn't break his collarbone. I'm not sure exactly what went down there.
Maybe it was the comms. He was like, guys, I'm feeling terrible, so sore, I'm not going to be able to hit the ball. And then he's playing incredible. And it's just throwing off the team. You never know. They weren't trusting him. Perhaps they should have, because he was looking pretty good out there. But, yeah, well played from the champs. Wasn't expecting that at all. And to close it out, I thought maybe when they did get to map point or series point that they'd, shake a little bit. We'd see a little nerviness, perhaps from Misty as the sub. Pressure on him, but not to be. He looks great.
Just hate the doubters here for CJ. Even production there tried to give just one game over to You're Not a Champ. But in the end, they are the champs. And what I really like from them, CJ, is the fact that they almost evolved as the series went on. It started off very solo play heavy. It started off very Misty heavy. And then that last sort of game and a half was very team oriented.
Yeah, they looked great. Like the pass plays, the way that they were drawing out the Take Flight offense or defense for the most part. But I just think it's when you're playing with Amphis and he is sitting downfield, it does put a lot of pressure on his second and third man, particularly that last guy who's going to be, perhaps a victim of the bumps, which is what we saw at the end. And when you're not quite on, you're not quite feeling it, can put a lot of pressure on the structure of that team. Wasn't to be, and champs just capitalized every time they found a chance. They found that bump they needed. They found the extra touch and found the game-winning goal.
And it's a tough one for Take Flight, as once again we sort of mentioned them in the first split as the team that we think could battle it out for the major, that were a clear top 4 team, and now they've fallen short, well short, twice in a row. So they're going to have to sit back on that one. Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading towards the upper bracket. Go get your sledgehammers. Go make sure you're ready to go to the hospital, because we have to get into the upper bracket.
Oh, I dream just to be where you are, in a world I can see where you are, though you are meant to be. Wish you're here next to me, where you dream just to be where you are, in a world I can see where you are, though you are meant to be. Wish you're here next to me, where you
Well, it was a 4-1, as we love to call it in OCE, and that was some... Well, it was some fantastic gameplay as we get underway with the own goal there, Yummy. What happened in that series? We need a little bit of a breakdown from you.
Look, it's just hard to get off to a strong start. You know, you need the warm-up, you got subs, you got a broken bone, you don't know what you're doing. Once they got into it, once they got past their 4 own goals, no more happened. They got out of their system.
I'm sorry, what else do they call it elsewhere when it's a 4-1? What other name would there be for that?
No, it was more so just the emotion behind it, you know, the 4-1. Like, it really... Other people, just a 4-1. You know, it's the emotion that really brings it out here, thanks to CJ and OCE. Of course, that was a big promotional thing, the 4-1, etc. But what's going on today has been, well, a 4-1 and a 4-2. So, you know, we haven't quite had all the 4-1s across the board, but we've had the lower bracket done and dusted now. We've got the 2 coming through to the top 6, and now it's a matter of sorting out the 2
I think we're going for the straight here. You know, the 4-1, the 4-2. This is going to be a 4-0, and then the final game a 4-3.
Well, that's an early prediction.
How do you know it won't be the other way?
Yeah.
Why can't this be the 4-3, then the last one the 4-0, Yummy?
So this one's going to be the 4-0, and then the final one a 4-3.
Wow. Yeah, you're that confident in 8.
Yeah. It is his boy Tatagane. So, you know, I feel like there's there's got to be some sort of belief there in this next matchup, which is wildcard against 8. It's an interesting sort of situation, isn't it? I mean, we've got a team in 8 that probably, you know, maybe a top 4 could have been somewhat in the minds a few years ago, maybe a couple years before that as well, in terms of Tatagane. Apples and Exfusions kind of new on the scene, or at least newer on the scene. Exfusions popping up in the last couple of seasons. Apples has been around for a few years at this point. But, I mean, it's the main team to look at here. We know wildcard, but what are we thinking about this 8 roster?
I mean, last time I saw Tatagane play was at PAX, I believe, in our you know, our country's intervarsity league, where he was popping off. And since then, it's kind of been a bit of a struggle streak in RLCS. You know, I had to mention the University League once when Tatagane's on stream, and I'm excited he's finally gotten that top 6 here. So I'm excited to see what he can do against one of the best teams in our region. But realistically, Yummy, I mean, this is a much larger kettle of fish, and Wildcard, they're one of the teams that it really should be the scariest one on the ladder.
Yeah, you have to remember, everyone at home, that, 8 have already made it into the top 6.
Yep.
That's usually sort of the benchmark for these teams to be like, okay, we've been really successful at this level. We've taken down one of those other top 8 teams in order to get here. They took down Take Flight, which you could argue they had a sub, but even with a sub, even with JR Tins playing, that's a team that you're not expecting to take down.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure if I'm confident in 8 getting across the line against Wildcard. But that being said, Wildcard have not looked the best that we expect from them. I'm not sure it's going to be the upset here, personally. I think I'm going to have to go for Wildcard. But 8, is there a chance? Yummy, what do you think? Any chance whatsoever?
The last event, after the wildcard lost the grand finals, I should say, I said it was the end of the wildcard era, and for me, the end of me just predicting them, expecting them to make the comeback. So I'm still going to predict them as a 4-0. They're still that much better than the rest of the pack, but they're just going through a tough time when it comes to the very top level of the competition.
I think if we see PAX form Tatagane, they can take 2 games. I don't think they can take the series. So give me wild card as well. That said, it will be a fun limit test for them.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing here. I'm excited to see what 8 can do against the clear second best in OCE now, which we wouldn't expect to have said about Wildcard coming into the season. It hasn't been the greatest of seasons so far for Wildcard. They look to cement themselves in the top 4, which we absolutely expect from this roster. And I'm not too sure if 8 will be able to step up to the task, but they're looking to play upset in the upper bracket. It's not an elimination match, but 8 will look to cause a massive upset to get them really into the top 4. Wildcard looking to get back to where they expect to be.
It's the number 2 against who at the beginning of the season I would have said number 22, but 8 have already made that run all the way here into the top 6, and they face what is one of the best, if not the best team in the region.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough ask for them. The thing about Wildcard, I mean, we expected it last regional, but I still think there's that aura around Wildcard that when they falter a bit, they can bounce back twice as hard. Look at the difference between the first and second regional this year and how much stronger they looked in Regional 2 compared to that first regional when they came up short. Although, first blood, Tatagane.
This is an incredible start. A huge 50 over the top of Fever, who is a surprise to say the least, to get beaten in a 50, and it was Xfusion to do so. Tatagane was there ready for it. And I will say, Formal, I don't know too much about Xfusion, so you're going to have to tell me all about him.
I can't say he's been on my radar that much either. I know like this trio has been teaming up with each other for a fair part of the year so far, and I've kind of been expecting them to make consistent top 16s and maybe more runs there, but they haven't really done so, as Fever is going to respond with the second goal.
I did mention that Fever is one likely to win the 50s. This one wasn't quite a 50, but he did have to crunch it through 2 defenders in order to finish off that goal. And it is tied up. But I will say, Formal, good to be casting with you after that last series where I literally was getting insulted by my co-caster. I don't think I get the same from you.
I'd like to think out of the 4 of us, I'm the professional one. as Fever off the post sets a banana head, puts it in. 2-1 lead. Don't really have time to say anything. They just keep scoring goals.
Somebody put that professional next to him singing happy birthday. Nice little clip there as well, early lead from the 8 didn't last very long. It was kind of what I expected. Maybe Wildcard sort of just underestimated the opposition a little bit too much early on. You can see that happen. They can over-aggress. They can take it not quite seriously enough, but then that moment that one goal gets scored against them, they go to that next level. But still early days, not just in the series, but even just in this game.
And I mean, if this, game is going to follow the same trend that our other series have seen, the first couple games, a little bit more on the chaotic side, as everyone's been having a tough time settling, and historically, something Wildcard has also been known for. Apples, though, let's see what he can cook up. Ball off the backboard from Banana Head, Fever underneath. Clear that one out. I mean, even back to your point right there, where it's, usually they lock in when scored against, when the first goal is within 10 seconds, that kind of locks in Wildcard pretty quickly.
Certainly does, and Fever has been... Well, Fever was the one that got scored on, I'd say, more than anyone else, who had the failed 50 in that defensive play, and since then, he's been so much more control. Great avoidance of the bump there from Apples, getting deep into the net. Torsos has been very keen to go for the demos as of late. Hasn't been able to get them just yet, and that's still kept 8 in striking distance here of this game. Make sure Apples can't quite find the pass, but a little bit of pressure on does them well.
That does, kind of flip the map, at least momentarily. Fever going to be the one leading the charge. Apples up with boost, reset, won't be able to stay with the play. Still, the defense holds for 8, which is promising to see. Something I'm noticing initially, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, this one from the wildcard side. Last regional, they were very fast, very aggressive, and we're still seeing moments of that from Torsos, but as a whole, the team seems a lot more reserved than what we saw from Regional 4.
Yeah, Regional 4, they were probably a bit too much going forward, but, it's sort of okay at times to do so, especially because they are so well-versed against most teams at being able to defend in those sort of 1v3 scenarios. You've seen a couple of moments even in this game where somebody like Torsos has been left alone at the back, or even Banana Head. The thing that's surprising me, Formal, is more who's going forward for them, who is going so hard, because normally I'd expect somebody like Banana Head to be doing that, but actually it's been Fever mostly leading the attack for Wildcard.
That was something we actually saw a fair bit of last regional as well. It was kind of a change of pace from them, and they're sticking with it. It looks to be in that 5th regional, despite maybe the lack of success that they saw at the end of the day. Granted, they still made a final, so there is something to be said about sticking with the game plan, maybe more slight alterations. Either way, Banana Head looks for Torsos. Tadagane on defense throughout this exchange has been pretty phenomenal. A lot of goal-saving touches, but it's still been all wildcard pressure.
There's been so much of that pressure, and yet 8 have been able to hold on for most of this run. They can't hold on forever. That is the 8th shot coming out from Wildcard to finally score their 3rd goal.
8 looking like the magic number for this one, a 3-1 lead. That only means 5 more goals to go before we're well and truly secured in that. Still, nothing too shocking or surprising in this one, and really just a controlled game from Wildcard. Nothing extraordinary, nothing, zany or wild. This has been the most normal game almost that we've seen so far today.
Can you tell us a little bit about this mythical Tadagane game at PAX? What exactly happened there that gave you that kind of that 4-2 hope?
He was... Well, I know you might not rate him that highly, but I still call him a top 100 mech player OCE, but just was getting the better of Lunar consistently. Consistently throughout the on-stage final. Hitting all of the trick shots, all the angles, just a pretty flawless game overall. And yeah, when you're able to do that against Lunar, who at the time was fresh off of a strong regional performance, I believe, as well, it was impressive to watch.
Hey, I'm never going to call Lunar a slouch, even though he hasn't really been at the top anymore of recent times. His time in the sun lasted maybe just a year, one season long. And wildcard, their time in the sun has been much, much, much longer. Seen a little bit of few clouds in their forecast, but not so far in this series.
Yeah, that was a great start for the 8 side, in the fact that they got a goal, even greater start for Wildcard. Obviously, as they win that first game. I'm trying to remember, like, who else, because the whole Tadagane lineup, because it was like Tadagane, Steve, and I believe Zen was on that team, and Tadagane was the standout player. Granted, you could argue that Lunar, Steve, and Zen these days are all maybe a bit on the older, longer in the tooth side, but Wildcard is an older team too, so Tadagane could just be, you know, the legend killer and just start retiring all the greats.
Yeah, well, he hasn't done that now. He did get 5 saves in this game in what needed to be a lot more, apparently. Wildcard had 11 shots to 3. It was pretty much always in that 8 defense after the first 10 seconds of the game. And so we're going to have to see 8, I don't know, dig deep. Maybe it's going to have to be X-Fusion or Apples, who had the couple of nice moments, but maybe need a few more consistently crazy moments in order to get the upset.
I think if you're going to beat Wildcard, while I liked, you know, 8's rotations and positioning for the most part, and I do feel like they played a solid game, yeah, they got beat a couple more times. If you're trying to go toe for toe with Wildcard in that regards, I don't know if you win that. I think you've got to mix it up almost and embrace the chaos that the region is known for, right? Like, we can't have standard Rocket League on a Saturday, maybe in a Sunday grand final, but not now.
Yeah, not in order to take down the wild card, and they do have that extra life of being in the upper bracket. You know, sometimes you just got to go all out. Well, actually, no, there's 2 ways really that you beat wild card. You either go all out, try and just up the pace, be annoying, go for demos, and sort of prevent wild card from playing the game they want. That actually often ends up going into Wildcard's favour. Usually the best way to cause the upset is to play hyper defensively, cause them to overcommit, and then score the goals on the counter-attacks. It's worked over and over and over again, especially against the likes of Torsos.
And it feels like that's what they were trying to do, though, Yummy, but it didn't work because Wildcard was disciplined. I don't want to say for once, but normally in like these Saturdays and before that grand final, they are more willing to be that over-eager team and send everybody forward, but they were super composed. And if you wanted to play for that counterattack, I mean, you saw the shot differential, you saw where the pressure was. There was just no opportunities to flip the map.
I just don't think that was really an intention there from 8 to try and hold on the defense. It was more just a level of pressure that came out from Wildcard. And just a little background information here, folks, is that there was the technical issue. As you can see, server went down, so they're just testing a new server to make sure it's good for the game, and we should be into it very shortly.
This is why teams don't call timeout in our region, Yummy, because they know Guru is going to crash the server and they're going to get it that way.
I knew it was Guru's fault. I just didn't want to say it because, you know, broken record and all that, but at least now everyone knows whose fault it is.
It's just, again, it's why they don't take the timeout. You know it's going to happen. So it's like, oh, okay. 2 and 2 together. Get 4. But that said, I think we are going to be getting back into the game shortly. 8 maybe have had a bit of time to recompose themselves. Maybe they'll be a bit more opportunistic in trying to find those counterattacks. But realistically, based on the form from that first game, if Wildcard continues to be a bit more disciplined, it feels suffocating for the 8 side.
Yeah, and just letting you know, we are actually having to wait even longer because the only person who hadn't readied up was Guru. Finally readied up, getting into the game. We're ready for game 2 and an opportunity to see truly what 8 have to deliver. What we can see from, you know, the likes of Tadagane and his PAX performance.
The mythical PAX performance. It was real. I was there. Well, they recreated here.
Were you commentating it?
Yes, I was. It was a fun time. It did not look like that, Yummy.
No, fair enough. Good to see Torsos with the weeb goal explosion. Exactly what you'd expect from him. You know what? They just thought that he was going to get a triple flip reset because, you know, it looked like he had it. He just didn't need to.
I mean, it is the signature move, the triple reset, Torsos big T play. As the ball's going to be centered once more. Apples has X Fusion. Fever gets in the way, and yeah, 1 versus 2. The one wins out. Has Banana Head now underneath. Actually goes for the reset shot. Instead, Banana Head's follow-up. Not quite there. Torsos now plays backboard, but pressure should be alleviated. Falling behind against Wildcard is exactly what 8 can ill afford to do.
It's going to be another chance, though, as 8 get this around the corner. It's not the kind of play that's really going to open up the net for 8. Into something a little bit better. That's exactly it. Is Banana Head the one in a difficult position, but that was just enough to give his teammates time. Get that around the other way. X Fusion looking awkward with no boost, but just does the same. Has to hold on to it.
Torsos almost redirects that one in, but still. Game 2 right now just looking exactly like a game number 1, and it's, you know, almost like a game of 21, just playing half court, only playing on the orange side. Not really many opportunities to go the other direction. Apples tries to get something, but it's still just a free pass from Banana Head to Fever. Had the boost to stay with it, leaves it for Banana instead. 1-2-1-2-0. Wildcard gets another.
Too many quick touches coming out from Wildcard for the defense to know what's going on, and, well, the placement. Absolutely precision there from Banana Head. 2-goal lead. An 8 in a difficult position early on.
I mean, 8 really need to draw back to the pass, I suppose, that Pack's performance. The other player, though, on the team who I haven't spoken much about, actually, Apples on Anxiety, is kind of another player who I have been seeing bouncing around in the bubble scene for a while. Correct me if I'm wrong, Emmy. I think this is their 2nd time in the top 8 in the 2.5 years they've been playing in OCE.
I don't exactly remember the number of times, but it does sound right to me, and they've got some good team players. Tadagane getting the goal, but it took X Fusion going down the other end up against Fever. Little 50. Tadagane just nicely positioned on his left.
Well spotted, well touched, and right back into this game. A 1-goal difference. And if you're looking for those quick counterattacks, that 1 goal can happen at any moment. Won't be on the kickoff this time. In fact, it could come the other way instead. Fever through the corner, drives it into Apples. Banana Head has to throw it back, but Torsos now in a good position. Should make the save and does have boost, unlike his opponent. And now can take it back to the midfield underneath Apples over the top of Tadagane. Here goes Banana Head, but the shot is wide.
You see there in chat as well, Guru coming to his own defense, saying he does his job. He doesn't do his job, he gets yelled at. He does his job, he gets blamed. And I think the answer there, Guru, is it doesn't matter if you quote unquote do your job. You got to do it well. You know, you got to stop making us have delays and choosing the wrong servers. And I don't know what you did to crash the last one, but stop that as well, mate.
I think Guru actually, I don't think that was an insult at all. I think it's a compliment. He recognizes that these teams need to call more timeouts and take more breaks. He's doing OCE service in my eyes, as Apples looks for the double but can't find it.
Oh, Banana Head, dangerous with a little extra room. I think he was hoping for the little last bump at the end. Try and turn that into a goal. A close one here. Opportunities going across the net as 8 keep themselves well and truly in this one. X Fusion going around the corner, intercepted by Torsos. Tadagane is there and has to beat out Banana Head, which is no easy task. As a fake comes out from Torsos, he couldn't do much else with 0 boost, but he's done brilliantly. Fever around the backboard, but no goal just yet.
Know how, besides the more measured approach, as more shots on, Torsos gets put high, but another way you can tell Wildcard is a bit more serious in this one, no sunglass topper for Torsos. It's actually a clean dominance for once. That should make everybody nervous in my eyes because, I don't know, not in it for the fun. They're not fooling around here tonight. It's, odd bump, and there's the goal. No!
Maybe he should have been wearing the sunglasses. Probably helped him line it up before, and this time he's missed a completely open net. Which is crazy because last event, Torsos was just hitting everything, every single net. They just weren't able to set up enough goals for him, but today he's gone wide.
A wide on 1, still no harm, no foul. If Wildcard can hold on to the win right here, Banana Head, next player forward. X Fusion with the boost off the wall should make the touch, but only go straight into Fever. Banana Head still being physical, gets the bump, can't redirect it into the goal. This time Torsos finds the top in, and that puts game 2 away.
makes up for that time. Look how awkward the defense has to be. Nobody has boosts, there's bumps everywhere. You just don't know what's going on, and Wildcard thrive on the chaos.
They thrive, and they, well, now look to have put this second game out of reach. Very similar to the first. 1 goal for their opponents. Maybe a second here. Apples actually, if they had won the 50 with that bump, there could have been a chance. Xfusion tries to play through the corner, but that's too suffocating on defense. And now back the other way. Here comes Banana Head, finds the shot. Apples back on defense, but 2 goals, 15 seconds. Ball on the wrong side of the field. It ain't happening.
Looks like it's going to be a wild card win, but I don't know if it's just me, Formal, but I'm kind of not impressed by Wildcard. I was kind of I want to see them in that region dominating form. They're a form that looked completely unstoppable, but they've looked stoppable at moments throughout this series so far, despite how comfortable the score lines have been. And obviously you can't judge a team based on what level of competition they are versing, but man, I kind of expected some fantastic highlight plays, some mechanical showcases. Banana Head at least usually has like some amazing plays that beats everyone, and we just haven't seen that yet, which just makes me a little bit worried about the rest of their tournament after this series is over.
I mean, it feels like they're doing just enough to win. Would be a good way of putting it. They're definitely not putting themselves at risk of losing these games, and I haven't felt like, okay, 8 has a chance now to flip this on its head, but it's been an odd one. It's just been like they've been content to get the early lead and then just kind of sit midfield, not allow 8 to cross it back to the other side, but also not really put that big pressure on that we saw in the 4th regional, and we saw it in game 1. I think maybe we were thinking they could be warming up into the series, but Game 2 felt very similar in that regards, and I wonder if they're holding back maybe to catch Power off guard later, or if this is a more measured approach that we're going to see all throughout this 5th event.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't really have the answer to that one, but I guess maybe we've also historically seen so much wildcard aggression and then so much ruthless sort of, no matter who we're going to verse, we're going to try and 7-0 them in every single game. We haven't seen that now, but it might just be, as you said, a more measured case after the fact that they just haven't had the level of success that they've wanted.
And again, too, this is a very important regional for Wildcard. I mean, in their perfect world, this is the first of the 3 wins they're going to have, throughout the weekend that gives them everything in the bag of chips and puts them through, because if they do not win this event and Power does, I mean, the odds of them making it to Paris, making it to Worlds potentially, it just goes up in smoke. This is a must-win event, so we are seeing Wildcard even against a team like 8 with their back against the wall here. Banana Head shot, but not in.
It does put a lot more pressure on Wildcard as well than there is in Power. Power can afford to slip a little bit, as, oh my, Fever. We saw him pop off a little bit in game number 1. He's returned to that first touch with the flip through just to give himself the momentum. And he finds the angle.
On the angle, magic touch down and in, puts it through. And I mean, little redirects like that are the moments that's why I'm not really hitting the panic button on Wildcard, just because they are a bit more reserved. The talent is still there in spades, and the defense on the other side still looking shaky at moments. If this was our chance to see what 8 is going to bring to the table, I can't say we've seen much from the other side either yet in this one.
No, I wish I could have talked more about 8, but unfortunately for them, they've been kept in their defensive half. And this is a moment where they did get to the other end, pushed a little bit forward, and just one little mistouch was expected to be a pass down, but a little bit too far away from them. You can see how quickly that can turn into a goal for the opposition.
That was an absolute laser from Banana Head, might I add. No boost on the setup right there. Kind of had to wave dash for the speed. Finds a 140-kilometer shot. That was pretty much a straight line. Now a double touch as well. Apples will get the save this time around, but we're starting to see more and more of that wild card I think we're expecting. Decisive strikes, a bit of mech as well for their 2 goals, and this looks like the 3rd off the 50. Apples is there in time to stop Torsos.
I really like that play from Banana Head. He was really trying to go for something amazing, and that's always when he's felt his best, when he just has that confidence to just be Banana Head. just be the man and do everything himself. And that little moment of spark of brilliance, that shows that they do have this still in their back pocket. It might even be the confidence of the fact that they are up 2 games, but Banana Head can't find the angle this time.
I think that spark actually was what was lacking in the Power Series before, because so often we've seen when Wildcard gets behind, or any team that Banana Head has been on, when they get behind, Banana Head's usually the one who makes that big solo play and kind of gets the team back behind them to get them back in the series, and it just never came against Power in that 4th regional. So if the spark is going to come back for this one, little plays like that, obviously this is a different situation, they're ahead, but I'm with you. I want to see more of that Banana Head in the future when we get to playing against Power, or maybe a Bulldogs matchup, or one of the other big 3. Can we call it a big 3, or is it a big 2 again?
It is definitely a big 2. Very, very strictly right now. Bulldogs did threaten to make it a big 3, but then unfortunately they haven't really sort of had that level of consistency and longevity by far that Power and Wildcard has had. But I think we're not too far away from that. They just need to make another realistic grand final for us to be saying that again.
I would be very interested to see another matchup between Wildcard and the Bulldogs in a semifinal, which, I mean, bracket allows it. That could be what we get tomorrow, because realistically both these teams kind of have that same objective of we need to win this regional. X-Fusion, though, off the backboard, not going to find much right here. Since those 2 goals, it's been more of the same from Wildcard, just consistent pressure, nothing spectacular, just enough to maintain control, and Fever off the roof still won't find the goal.
I just want to point out it's currently 12 shots to 0. That's just the level of control and pressure that Wildcard has had. I don't think I've ever seen a game where a team gets 0 shot. Oh, actually, I have, but it's so rare. I think I've only ever seen it one time in OCE before. And it's looking extremely likely, especially the way that Wildcard are currently playing. I mean, look at the speed there from Banana Head to even prevent them from having time on the ball to get the possession. Although that mistouch from Fever could lead to the first shot, which is crazy for us to say, oh, you know, we're looking for them to get 1 shot on the board, and they still couldn't get it.
Yeah, I couldn't find it, so we come back the other way. I'm starting to understand more and more why, you know, during pre-production when we were all talking about the games today, this was the one you know, circled and wanted. It's making sense to me now. This was
I demanded to CJ that he put me on this series. And this might be exactly why they might be about to get their first shot. No, still don't have a shot on the board.
20 seconds left. Last chance to get that shot on the board. Possession for Tatagane. Not going to find it. Banana Head keeps him in the corner. X-Fusion still jammed out. If they want that shot, it has to happen here. X-Fusion with the chance towards the net. It's registered. They got it.
Wow, what a shot. What a series. Oh, they get another one. They got 2 shots there, ladies and gentlemen. 2 shots to 2 goals. That's pretty much an equal game in my eyes.
Yeah, that was well done. Big 0-second plays right there to get that second shot, and won't give them the win, won't give them the points, but you know, at least they can held their heads up high. They got 2 shots against OCE's number 2 team.
Yep, they certainly have done it. They've reached the top, and I'll tell you what, those were 2 very high quality shots as well. So only Wildcard would have been able to defend them.
Yeah. Especially the first one. It was close, but just a different caliber now. Do you call the timeout if you're 8? Do you look to refocus, or do we just send it and let's go?
Please just send it. Please just get this over with. Oh, we didn't even get the highlight of the double shot from Hazard. Actually, no, that was probably Guru's fault, so... Do you reckon that makes the top 5 plays?
I mean, you know, if Hazard's good at his job, which I think he is.
Maybe that could be our number 6, because we had our number 6 on the, you know, an honourable mention on our worst plays. Maybe we can get those 2 shots in for tomorrow. But it looks like no timeout. It looks like we're going to go straight into the 4th one. They're ready to go. And Wildcard trying to end the suffering right now.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do it, or if we get the start of what could be one of the most improbable, I think the most improbable reverse sweep in RLCS if it starts to go the other way. Execution. That is how you start a comeback, Yummy. That's more than a shot. That's a goal.
Where was this earlier? This is incredible from Xfusion. Fakes that he's going to take that high. Gets a little ground pinch after Banana Head sort of sees the recovery. And Xfusion, after they couldn't get a shot in for all of last game till the very end, gets an immediate goal. Oh, that's fine.
Almost from Banana Head right back. I do want to point out 2 of 8's 3 goals have been opening kickoff points. They've done that twice now, so I think we know the team's strength. But you need more than that. Or maybe not for this game. We'll see.
Well, I mean, technically, if you just scored off every single kickoff, you would win by an absolute monster margin and win by 50 goals. So they just need to start doing that a little bit more. Not let it get into regulation time. Unfortunately, Wildcard have always been pretty good at kickoffs, so it's impressive enough that they've managed to get 2.
There's been a couple shots where it looked like the door was open, but Wildcard hasn't been able to put it in. Now a pass across, and again, this defense doing a good job in holding. Back in game number 1, Wildcard did answer immediately. So far in this one, 1 minute down, and it's been a lot of Wildcard pressure, but no point yet.
Ooh, close to that bump attempt from Fever. Defense holds for now as 8. They're starting to find themselves in a position they've been many times throughout this series, in this back corner, struggling to find boost and struggling to get the ball out. As Fever puts that high for Torsos, he's going to look for the double, go underneath maybe. Actually, it's going to be Fever who comes in underneath to secure it.
Oh man, what a fake right here from Torsos. You can see Xfusion totally expecting Torsos to commit, doesn't see Fever underneath, just driving through. Good job to hold off. And I've seen plays like that. It might almost come across as unnecessary because that was a mean play, but when you're down by 1, send it. Throw everything you have, every trick in the book. I appreciate it.
Oh no, that was such a good pass play from Apples, but Tartagane maybe a little late off the mark, but that's just going to go floating in. I just had to pause my breath for a second there. This just pops up off the corner, and goodbye.
That shot usually does not work, but no one was rotating back in time for Wildcard, so it's allowed to leisurely fall through. You'd expect off the missed pass, the change of possession. Fair enough, lead regained by 8.
I think that just proves, Formal, that apples are better than bananas.
I don't know. Doctors might agree with you, but we'll see as we play it out. I'm more of a banana person.
I'll be honest, I'm more. I think the average banana is better than the average apple.
Yeah, I agreed. More versatile as well. Smoothies, banana, definitely superior. Here we go, though. Up and around, torso shot, not in.
It's going to be Apple to try and get this one away. Heard us call him out and maybe get a chance for another goal, but they have got that 2-1 lead. Opportunity to do something special here, or at least prevent themselves from getting swept would be a good start. You always have to take these games one at a time. It's completely open. There's no way to go back, but he's missed. He's off the post.
Look, it was a tough, clear situation. Yes, it was open, but it was a cross field and you needed some power on it. You saw how close the defense was. Unfortunate because a 2-goal lead actually might have been enough to win this game with the way how it's been going. Wildcard still struggling for that second point. Still 2 minutes left. Chaos in the corner as it comes across Fever. He's going to get a free touch. Looks for the pass. Finds Apples instead. Defense in shambles. Here comes Banana Head, and the game is tied.
Such a shame there for the 8 defense. It was a bit of a pre-jump early, expecting that ball to go high. Apples hits it into his back corner, but because of the pre-jump, they were landing back on the ball, and that led to all the confusion. Can't really blame them. It felt like the right play at the very beginning of it, and it just ended up being a mistake.
It's another 8 kickoff, and they got it towards the net. Able to seal the deal this time. Still a minute and a half to go. You could argue this is the best 8 has looked, actually. They've had multiple shots, a couple goals even. The defense, outside of a couple little hiccups, has been solid. if they can find a way to get that next magic touch, maybe, just maybe, we get a series, but instead we come the other way. Here comes Torsa, save made by Apples.
Fever's going to go for the solo play. He did have the opportunity for a pass if he really wanted it. He's managed to get enough. No, it's just going to go off to the side, and there will be no goal scored. It looked like Wildcard were threatening.
Why does it feel like so often when that ball is waterfalling down, there's just a defender parked in the position to knock it into their own net?
Usually because they're trying to get to the closest position to that ball, and if they're in a bit of a rush, they will go straight into that ball underneath. If it bounces down, and be in a lot of trouble. As we saw from Kaka in the last event, accidentally sort of having that ball bounce off his head and into the goal. That being said, 30 seconds remaining. 2-2. A chance here for 8. They don't go for the shot.
I just say I think Kaka was robbed. That should have been the number 2 in my vote. Number 1 was obvious, but the Kaka one, that should have been number 2. Either way, here we go. Pressure coming on. Banana Head waits, plays it patiently, and gets the open net.
Oh, it's not the Pax Tatagane in that one. It's just gone over the top of it. He didn't have boost. He didn't expect it to get past his teammate either. Just a comedy of errors. Oh, man, it feels bad because 8 felt like they could have won this game, and it feels like it all slipped through their fingers.
Yeah, and I think out of the games, this one could be the most frustrating of the 4. Mix of them being the closest, having those opportunities, but in the end, it's all going to come crumbling down. Wildcard, they get the 4-0 as expected, which is good news for everybody, because it guarantees a Game 7 for our next series.
I was going to say, well, we've still got that in the bag. We've somehow got power going Game 7 against Canterbury Bulldogs in the next one. At Wildcard, don't know what to say too much about this series. They did 4-0. They looked really good in that Game 3. I felt like they looked in their form and they looked confident. Game 4, maybe not so much, but even still, their class, their individual skill is just too much.
Even when it looked like 8, I think, was starting to get momentum, it's still a wild card, so you should always have that sense in the back of your mind at any moment they're going to find those goals, they're going to put it through. But what surprises me is it goes back to what we were talking about at the start. It wasn't brilliant plays by them. They waited for the mistakes, and then were just capitalizing on that. They weren't overexerting themselves throughout, except for the one time when they did and got burned for it. So, yeah, Wildcard holding those cards close to their chest. I think we're going to see more of what they're planning when we get later into the event tomorrow.
And we will see more of 8 as well tomorrow. They head down to the upper bracket. We saw some good moments from X-Fusion, Tatagane, of course, and Apples on Anxiety. But for now, we're going to have to wait till tomorrow for that. Let's go to our very last game of the day, and probably the best one after this break. We have Canterbury Bulldogs up against Power.
Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I.
We are back for the game of the day. We just saw Wildcard 4-0 in what is a dominant performance, but now it is up to the regional champions up against Canterbury Bulldogs to see if they can do the same. Formal's ran off. He's got other games that he cares more about, but we've got the two GOATs here, CJ and Monty.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a test as well. We said, Formal, if you really don't care about the region, you can go. You don't have to stick around. You know, you can leave. And he said, all right, guys, see you later. So, I mean, clearly cares about other games more than this. But it's great to be here. We've paid our dues, Monty, in the first three series for an absolute banging final matchup.
Yeah, well, you know, Yummy did say we had a 4-1, a 4-2. That was going to be a 4-0, which he got right. So that only means a 4-3 is up next, I think, is the way to go about it. Which, you know, Max Formal loves a last game of the day being the big one. And I don't know why he's run off, because it seems to be everything leading to a Game 7 here.
Sort of point out as well, my predictions have been perfect today as per usual, and my prediction in this final one will also be good. But as I said, should expect a 4-3. Probably not realistic, but the major question for me, and I think for you two, is going to be around Bulldogs. What kind of form are they coming into this event? We know they can win a regional, but can they do it in the middle of a split when there's a lot more pressure for everyone?
Monty, coach of the Bulldogs.
Yeah. Look, the one thing that I would tell the boys is to make sure to take some timeouts before it gets to, you know, them 3-1 down in a series. I'd like to see that happen, but I'm just not. I don't know what to expect from this Bulldog side. They are so hot and cold, and that was the case all of Open 1, all of Open 2, all of Open 3, even like in the series, it was just hot and cold from moments of looking really good to moments of looking really, really not good defensively, and it continues on so far in Open 4. They've had moments in the Swiss stage and the GSL that hasn't looked too good, and at other moments they look really good. I just don't. It's so hard to expect anything from this Bulldog side because they constantly let down my expectations while also going, hey, we won Open 3. Let's get those expectations through the roof.
I just wanted you to keep going. You're on a roll right now.
What did you do? That break served you well,
Yeah.
I'd say earlier on. You're absolutely thriving at the moment, and you're clearly passionate about the Bulldogs. So I'll go on the other side of things, looking at this power lineup. Freaky to coach the German RLCS legend, taking the reins of this team with Fiberglass and Super Lucky. They're the Boston representatives. They're the Open 4 champions. They're looking for a back-to-back. They're looking for a perfect split, Yummy. And it feels like they're the only team taking this thing seriously because they're locking in, and I'm loving the way they're playing.
The way they're playing is great. Super Lockie had just a series of his life in the last grand final. Gus was performing earlier on in the event. Fiber is always seeming to be that guy, but sort of took a little bit of a support role throughout that last event, and it just sort of all came together to make them the undefeatable team. Nobody looks like they could really get close to them, and that means that the Bulldogs, despite their pasts of being able to take them down in an event, being able to take down the big dogs, it's looking less likely. They're going to need to have really stepped up from the last event to do that. The question is, CJ, do you have the Bulldogs, or is it still power?
It's still power, and I'm sorry that I want to build it up for you. I really do. And I'm on Caleb watch, actually, for this series, because if he can step up, what we saw in Open 3, final event of Split 1 of that Boston Split was fantastic. I didn't see the same Caleb in Open 4, so if he can find that magic, he looked like he was the best player in the region in Open 3. So let's see that, come back. I'm not going to back it in, though. So I'm going to go power. I think they're the new wild card, honestly. I mean, I just have to keep predicting them because they're playing fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, look, Power have looked so good, and Bulldogs, as I said in my rant, they have been so hot and cold, and I'm not sure what to expect. I was told I'm not cheering for the Bulldogs enough, is what my team stream told me.
Wow.
So I'm gonna have to go for the Bulldogs today.
There he is.
We love it. I've got Power. I'm excited to get into this series. It is nice and ready for us. Power versus the Bulldog. Monty's going to be incredibly disappointed if the Bulldogs lose. So everybody get behind them for a chance to take down Power. Let's get going.
Let's get into this one, Monty. Final series of the day. We're due for a best of 7. We're due for a game 7, should I say. We've had 3 best of 7s already, but can we go the distance? Find Championsville. We've had a 4-0, a 4-1, and a 4-2, and we are due.
Absolutely, but I know what predicted for the Bulldogs here. I'm just not confident in a game 7. I have to throw that out of the window. I've got the prediction for Hopium. Yeah.
So you're confident in the Bull? No, you're not confident in the Bulldogs. You just predicted them. So you're just not confident. Game 7 is the only way they're going to win this.
Yeah, but even then, if I'm being a realist, I'm just not seeing the Bulldogs be good enough to go to a game 7 against this Power side right now. It might not be as much of a discredit to the Bulldogs, more so a credit to Power. They do look far above everyone else at the moment, including Wildcard, but it's so difficult to, as I say, know what to expect from this Bulldogs side, but Power, we exactly know what to expect from them.
And Karka's got to hit that shot. That's a wide open net. They have to make the most of this game 1 if they're going to be a chance. There's a nice demo to perhaps open things up. The bump doesn't come through. Caleb has hit the ball backwards. This is what I'm saying. Where is open 3 Caleb? He had 100 boost money, and he's completely stuffed it.
Yeah, I think Caleb is a player we look at, but so is everyone on this Bulldogs roster to make that step up. I don't think we've really seen the form of any of these players we want to see. Kaka, Hunter both have the capabilities of looking so good, as does Caleb. We just typically haven't seen it across Open 1, 2, and 4. The question of if they can step up in Open 5 and make something happen, and this would be just a point on the event so far to say, hey, yeah, we're back in. I mean, reminder as well, this side did lose to Take Flight in the GSL stage in the previous event as well. So at the moment, there's question marks of if they're the top 3 team, potentially, dropping into that top 4. Of course, Take Flight not doing so good this event, so maybe that top 4, the top 3 rather, is safe. There's a strike from Hunter, denied. Some pressure from the Bulldogs starting to build up now.
Yeah, and what I really like from this Power lineup is they're having to play a little bit of defense at the moment, having to really find some 50s. Hang on a minute, hold that thought. Caleb, can he find 2? It's off the line, and Fiber has to come through. I love the fact that although they were probably disappointed only with their Boston Major performance, they obviously only got the 1 win on the board against SSA. They did... what I like from them, just being, having a look behind the curtain, is the analysis they were doing, the matchups they were going through with Freaky in the prac rooms, and really looking at how they're going to attack different teams, how they're going to change their play style, and the professionalism of that, I think we're seeing in OCE back at regional form. So, as I said, I don't think other teams are doing it as much. I don't think Wildcard are doing it as much, and this is me just saying stuff, basically, but I really think they are the most professional team in OCE. But they can still be vulnerable to a little Caleb pump fake.
Yeah, you can just drive on forward here, Caleb. Super lock. He had no boost. He had to gamble on one or the other of committing or not. And well, he chose the wrong option there. Half the game gone 1-0 to the Bulldogs. You're talking about, probably being disappointed for Power at Boston. But speaking with Gus beforehand, he did say that, they're okay with whatever result they want. I think obviously they wanted that win against 5 Fears. But they were going, we're looking towards Paris, we're looking towards Worlds. And at that point in time, you go, well, are you going to get there? Are you able to go back-to-back and beat Wildcard a second time across this one? And, well, that's going to be super lucky denied. But it feels as though in Open 4, the answer is yes, they can do it. So far, though, in this game, it doesn't look as though that's the case. And Hunter will look for Kaka, won't quite connect.
Yeah, they've really kept their form since Boston. Haven't been demotivated coming back to OCE. Often you hear that from the teams. They're playing, they're scrimming the top teams internationally. There's a great shot, great save from Hunter. They have come out flying after open 4, but this is a great start from the Bulldogs. With a 1-0 lead, minute 40 on the clock, and Kaka nearly works it over the top of Gus. This is pretty rare to see. Power yet to be on the scoreboard.
And they're struggling to connect with each other there. That's another example of it. Just hitting the ball into space rather than towards a teammate. Super Lucky towards the back wall now. Fiber has Gus just to his side, but won't get the first touch there. The second ends up setting himself up for the shot. Karkar with the clearance. Now building some opportunities, Power, but nothing clear cut. It's all towards the side of the goal rather than direct. And Bulldogs are eating it up at the moment.
Love the extra touch there to Hunter. I'm not sure how they're even ready for that. Here's the demos, though. The bump plays have been pretty prominent from this Team Power lineup as Fiber's looking to keep that ball in the corner. Gus getting involved as well. He's just going to roll it around. You mentioned it before, there's not too many pass plays. They're really relying on the bumps and perhaps a mistake from the Bulldogs, which you haven't quite seen just yet.
That's good speed from Caleb. Going to make it an effort towards goal. Karkar takes the challenge. Fiber low boost, just putting Caleb under pressure. Might even cough up an error there. We'll take the 50 on Hunter. Now Lockie towards the net. It's going to be Caleb just to take the sting out of that play with a reset. Into the corner now. Good challenge by Gus, but it goes up high. Karkar, the first to respond, has Hunter to his side again, and it's going to be Gus towards Fiber. But again, good positioning from the Bulldogs, just cutting off these plays at the halfway line. Power is so desperate to find something, and the Bulldogs cutting it off before they even get into half.
Yeah, it's just nice rotations. You can see Caleb grab that mid boost and cut out the pass as Kaka fakes the pop. Does get dunked. A little bit awkward here as Hunter's just going to decide to sit in net. I like it. Hold on to the 1-0 lead. This is NRG 2.0. Just grab a 1-goal win. 3 seconds left. It's down the right end for the Bulldogs. The clear comes through. Is anyone downfield? Gus actually found a bump. If he can get a pop on net, it's the Super Lucky. He pops it up. I think the fake would have been the better option. Fiber trying to control this. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a second. Ball down. Power had a chance. Bulldogs hang on.
Yeah, they just couldn't reach onto that play. And there was a couple of different opportunities in that one where, you said the fake could have come through. For Power, it didn't. The follow-up just not quite close enough. You need a gamble at that point that, hey, the ball's probably going to drop just around that 6-yard box. Didn't happen. Well, didn't gamble on it that time. But Power, it felt so interesting. I mean, we expect this team to score goals. We expect them to make these flashy plays. It just never came off for them. Bulldogs got the lead. And uncharacteristically, they looked pretty solid on defense. Though, as I said, it was never really direct. It was always to the side, and the Bulldogs dealt with it.
It also, you mentioned before that the flashy plays weren't coming off from Power, but they weren't really even going for flashy plays. I feel like they were just hoping the Bulldogs would make a mistake and they just get an easy goal. They were kind of just hitting the ball forward, keeping it in, getting a bump every now and then, and hoping that opportunity would kind of open up, but it just didn't. And then, as you said, they're not getting creative enough. They're not looking for those fakes, the extra plays. They're kind of just playing pretty standard not even A1 Rocket League, just C-tier Rocket League, honestly, from Power. But credit to the Bulldogs. Keeping a clean sheet against the best team in the region is a great start for them. We know they usually improve as the series goes on. We've seen them, complete some reverse sweeps before, as it kind of goes the distance, or 3-1 down, the old gentleman's reverse sweep. So the fact they've won game 1 is a good sign. Pressure on Power.
Yeah, well, Power not able to get on the score sheet in that game, but something that's sort of been noticed by me is the fact that Gus always seems to pop off on this map. So, the 2 clips we've seen from him across the the 2 big clips from him this season have always happened on Forbidden Temple, so maybe something to spark them a light in game 2. But that was very simple Rocket League from the Bulldogs, just keeping Power at bay in that game. They'd love to do it again in game 2. Not quite going to be able to start off in the same sort of momentum that they had at the end of the previous, as Power getting a couple of chances again, but it's just simple. It's easy enough to play it to the corner and get it through the sidelines, and Caleb will have plenty of time to do so again here. That's a very awkward one. We'll play off the sidewall. 60 in the tank towards net. Gus, well, that's a mistake, and it in the end gets it out to the corner.
You have to kind of climb onto the post there. A touch awkward as Fiber. Can he get ahead of it for the bump? He's trying to block the ball down. Super Lucky gets dusted by Caleb, and it's just Gus last if they can find the bump. It's got to be the pass play instead, which is maybe not the right call. It wasn't on target either. Super Lucky finds the reset, drops it down to Fiber, has 0 boost, and Kaka just plants himself in front of net. The defense comes through for the Bulldogs again.
Yeah, we're seeing Power start to look for those pass-offs. Hunter looking to do the same here for the Bulldogs. Doesn't quite work out there, but Power now looking to make those 1-2 passes into the offensive half. Fiber collected the halfway, now takes a challenge. Kaka towards his own center of net. Hunter will take over. It's better from Power, but still, we're not to see anything too direct. That's a shot denied, and it's just not really creative enough, as we've said about for Power. There's a break through the halfway line again. Kaka, Caleb, no boost in a race. Gus will win that contest, but gives away possession. It's not something we expect from Power. We like to see them keep the ball close, and at the moment, they are absolutely struggling to do so.
Yeah, some of the power that we saw from Open 4 is you can see even the pass plays are mounting downfield. If the bump didn't come through, Hunter would have been an option for the pass and perhaps an opportunity on net. Bulldogs certainly looking the better side so far, but it can turn quite quickly here. Fiber back left, looking in control. Just working around Caleb, who has been more impressive certainly than what we saw in the first event of the Paris split. And yeah, just losing these 50s, this is putting a lot of pressure on this Power defense, and the rotations are a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish from what we expect.
Yeah, it's just again cleared straight into the path of a Bulldog. Caleb took over. The dunk just not quite from Kaka. Now Hunter has the left of the net to aim for and does score the opener. Power just struggling in so many different assets right now. They can't score goals. They can't really keep Bulldogs at bay. And yet again, it's a 1-0 lead.
That situation there, Gus actually turned out to the corner hoping that Fiber would find the 50 out. Instead, it just dropped straight down for the second follow-up, and Hunter just gets so much time to line that bottom left up. This time his shooting is on point. We have seen certainly some questionable shooting from Hunts in the past, but that was fully wide open on that left-hand side. First goal on the board once again, and we're yet to see Power score. This has been, 8 minutes now of Rocket League and some, and well, here's another 2-0 lead because they're not challenging anything, and Hunter's walking around them.
Yeah, when it was 1-0, I was sort of thinking, at the very least, Power are just out of reach right now. They can't quite get that goal, but if they do, then it's back on in their way. And in game 1, they never found the answer. In game 2, they're going to have to find the answer a couple extra times. And I'm not really sure if we can even see that from Power. They haven't shown any real signs of life so far. And this is coming from someone who was expecting Bulldogs to not take it to a Game 7 right now. Power are absolutely struggling to find anything defensively and offensively. Fiber low boost puts that into a dangerous position. Hunter out towards Kaka. He'll have plenty of boost to work with from the corner. Off the ceiling, takes it by 1. Fiber will guide that to the corner. And the Bulldogs keep the pressure on Caleb towards Hunter. He'll play that all the way back.
Yeah, he's going to have to get one more as well. Does into the corner. With the dunk, a little bit awkward. Super Lucky is going to jump with the shot. They do find their first goal. Still plenty of time to get the second. A little bit of mistake, a little bit of a misplay here. They overcommitted on the Hunter touch. Kaka rolling out. And that's probably not what you want to see from the Bulldogs when you are 2 goals up, to be that aggressive trying to get out of defense.
Yeah, to this point, it feels like the Bulldogs had basically made no mistakes defensively. And I expect them to make a couple across the series. I mean, we've spoken about since, I think, Open 1, the ego offense that this side possesses, where sometimes they just forget about defense because they think they're that good on offense. And at times, it shows just how good they actually are. But at other times, it leads to a goal for the opposition. Caleb will find a reset and the double. What a goal.
Wow, wow, wow. And look how much space he had. Where on earth is second man Gus? He's flying across from the other side of the map to put a challenge up. Fiber sits in net and watches a free play double over his head. He had the reset. He's showing the mech. The Bulldogs are back.
That's the reason that they have that ego offense in mind, because they can pull off plays like that. Back in doubted with, the 2-1 scoreline, but you score a goal like that, you make it 3-1, 50 seconds remaining, and the Bulldogs are looking very good here as Hunter will play the sidewall. Sets himself up nicely up high infield towards Kaka. That's a miss from Fiber. Maybe Super Lucky called him off it. Still Gus trying to work this around the corner. 50 in the tank. Takes the 50. Drops midfield. It's kind of free for anyone to go for right now. No one's committing. Now Lockie will.
Well, they made the mistake before the Bulldogs of overcommitting 2-0 up, and they're certainly not going to make that mistake again based on what we're seeing here. All 3 deciding to sit back, but they're getting space because there's just no one in the midfield from Power either. And no one following up this clear from Fiber. Finally, he just does it all himself off the sideball. Gus, hang on a minute. Top play's coming up. Not quite that time, as you can see the respect from the Bulldogs. Bump off, Super Blocker. There's no time left for Power. This is done. This is a 2-0 scoreline, and this is completely going in the wrong direction than we thought.
And there was a close game in game 1. That scoreline extended out for Bulldogs in game 2. It's not what I was expecting. I mean, you expect a close game, you expect a close series is what everyone was sort of alluding to, aside from me, to be fair. But it feels as though Power, when they found their chances in that game, it was purely off a mistake from the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs made one mistake. It cost them across the 2 games for 1 goal, nothing more. They've looked so good offensively. They've looked very composed. I mean, yeah, they probably want to send one player to that sort of midfield ball where none of them went for it. But it feels like that's a change in the Bulldogs where typically, we probably would have seen them send 2 to that play in open 3, open 2, whatever. Whereas now, you start to see them go, hang on, let's just play a little more composed, let's play a little more controlled, and then they get the benefit, 3-1. It's not looking very good for Power, while it's looking very good for the Bulldogs.
They just look incredibly composed right now. This is unusual. You mentioned the defense early on in game 1. They just kind of look a little bit more settled, a little bit more locked in, and they've kept that through to game 2. This is a different Bulldogs team. I'm loving what I'm seeing. We're expecting more offense from Power. They had 5 shots that game to Bulldogs 11. So not only are they looking settled in defense, the Bulldogs, they're happy to sit there and take the offense from Power, but they're creating more offense of their own, more than double of the output that Power are having down the other end. So it's great to see. Caleb's looking fantastic, and they're just kind of controlling this entire game. They're playing at their speed. Power want to try and speed it up, and when they do, there's no one following, nobody in the midfield, and we're seeing the space that the likes of Caleb's getting off the wall with 100 boost. He's getting a reset. He's going to create a little bit of magic, and he has done so. So Bulldogs look great. I think they need this time out here from Power just to settle things. They need Freaky to get back in the lab because they're not playing the same as Open 4, but maybe that's just a credit to your Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, for Power, they have time. Of course, this is an elimination match. They can still make up for it tomorrow if they happen to go down in this series. But they want to start working out what's going wrong right now. They like knowing their opposition. They like knowing how to deal with the players in front of them. And if that timeout's anything to go by, well, hopefully for Power, they'll have found an answer, because they absolutely need one here just to get it going back in their favor, just to give them a little bit extra confidence. I feel like you're in form at the moment for the most part from Power. They've looked very good so far this split, but a game loss here potentially just gives them the nerves, and it might be Power tomorrow potentially to have the extra nerves, which we saw from Wildcard in the previous split where, they were the favourites, now Power were the favourites. Potentially there's nerves for being in that position.
And I love saying the teams, perhaps getting figured out, or when you are the hunted, everyone's adopting your play style, doing the replays, working out what makes his Power team work. Even there before, you could see Super Lockie going for that solo play. He had a reset and he went for the edge dribble bump, but it was being covered by Kaka behind. They're ready. They're expecting those kind of plays now. And it's just getting a little bit tougher for Power to find the back of the net. They've only found 1 goal in this entire series so far. Off the timeout, we'll see if they can change things. So far, it still looks like the Bulldogs are pretty settled into this one.
Yeah, Power just trying to force the ball into their corner at the moment, just making sure the Bulldogs don't get a clear opportunity. That was sent very powerfully across as Kaka looks to find Hunter. Redirect towards the net. Gus had gone walking for the boost, and it's an open net.
And this is what I'm talking about. Where is the midfield? Where's the second man? Gus is rotating out. Superlock is trying to push up. They've just got a free pass front left. Nobody home. And finally, Hunter knows how to shoot.
He's had his moments across a few events. In particular, Open 3, he looks so good. But the inconsistency, I mean, even Kaka, we were talking about, I think in Open 2, the inconsistency in terms of he had so many shots, but it was a very poor conversion rate. The Bulldogs, not known for their clinicalness at times, but right now they are scoring all the goals they need.
Look at that as well. I mean, Kaka with low boost just completely cuts the infield. They know they're going to look for the extra pass, but they have overcommitted here. Is there an opening? No shot from Gus. City tries to play it to the side. I'm not sure that's the play. Hunter with 100 boost. Just kind of walk it down the line. Perhaps getting a few more openings. There's another flick middle looking for the bump, but as I said before, it feels like they've done their homework here, the Bulldogs. The scrims have been paying off because they're reading these infield plays, they're reading the team plays, and they're not expecting, they're expecting the unselfishness from Power, which is not working for them.
Super lucky. Just too simple again for Caleb Hunter. I mean, it might just be the reverse play from earlier. Not quite able to connect on that one. Power now looking to create something. That's a nice doink on from Super Lucky. Just towards the net again, too easy. Fiber reset, back wall play in front, and Caleb works it again out of the halfway, well, towards the halfway line. Double commit from the Bulldogs. In the end, Caleb calls Kaka off it, goes for the bump as well. Hunter still inbound. Kaka slows it down, and, well, again, Super Lucky gets behind it.
I still love that they're recognising, even before you mentioned the double commit, but they saw Super Lucky backing off, so they just, instead of hitting the ball forward, they look for the slow play, look to settle it down, and that's what we're mentioning. They're playing at their own pace here, the Bulldogs. Super Lucky might have a free backboard touch. It's really well played from Caleb. Still a shot coming in. There's the save, but it's not good enough because Gus reads the pop from Hunter and ties it up.
I think, well, actually, there was an extra touch there that I didn't quite catch earlier. I thought it was just purely a demo from Caleb, but that little touch out, I think, gave them the benefit to reach the next ball for Power. And, well, that's only their second of the series. You would have expected them to score plenty more than that at this stage, but the Bulldogs, they've conceded the latest. They won't want to let that switch the game back in Power's favour, or for the first points into Power's favour. Gus, a simple shot. Caleb had gone for the squishy save and makes it. And 2 minutes remaining, one apiece at the moment. This is feeling like the closest game we've had as Hunter swings and misses.
That had to be buried. That was a beautiful pop. Kaka with low boost just bought so much time. Double reset. And Hunter just completely whiffs the touch. This time does get dusted by Super Lucky. It allows Kaka to come in. They've overcommitted in the corner from the Bulldogs. It's starting to get a little bit nervy as Power are picking up the pace. Kaka down the line. Does get a fortunate bump. Caleb is still there. He's trying to get the demo on Super Lucky, who's just running away from him off the ceiling. Hunter finds the 50. Finds a double 50. Now it's a little bit awkward for Power. Super Lucky in an awkward spot. The Fiber does get the clear. Minute 17 left. We are starting to see the tide turn a touch.
Now, you mentioned potentially some nerves getting in there now for the Bulldogs, and that's something strange about this Bulldogs side, although that's an open net. Hello, Power. You need someone to save that one. It's all too easy for Kaka to make it 2-1.
Well, I think this is the difference between both sides. The Power are expecting, they're saying if that was us, we would have infielded, so they both go to watch the infield. And Kaka, even though he had no boost, we had a beautiful angle on net, they all just left. They vacated the premises. Unfortunately, the ball's in the back of the net. 2-1, a minute left. They could be facing a 3-zip scoreline.
It feels like it's the most contested game we've seen from Power. It feels like they've probably had more possession in this game than either one or two. They're looking to make something happen here. Gus to Super Lucky, and Caleb gets across for the save. Now looks to move it swiftly down the sideline. Has a chance to play that one back. Hunter instead calls him off it. Wants to play it again. Dunk down ahead of the net. And Super Lucky takes over control. Looks to get by the midfield. Caleb to the corner. Hunter will just play it again. Kaka, that's a bit awkward from the Bulldogs, but they make it work out.
Yeah, we have seen Kaka get a little bit antsy before. He needs to relax. We saw when the first goal of the game from Power was that overcommit, following up when they are in the lead. Here's Gus with space, reset, a bump's coming through. He doesn't have it on target. He needs a ground pinch. Caleb's there first. 50 comes through from Fiber, but he's got no boost to work with. And that demo means it's just Gus last man, and he's a long, long way away. 5 seconds left. One last crack for Power. Oh, they're going to be 3-zip. The timeout buff could be donezo. Kaka backs off. Ball will hit the deck. The Bulldogs, could they be the team to 4-0?
It's looking absolutely likely right now. Power, I mean, I've said that's probably the most contested game we've seen from them, and they still just cannot get across the line. The Bulldogs have looked superb. It hasn't been, I mean, Power have had moments where we feel like, I mean, you said, you know, they expect the infield. It's just a shot on target. Power expecting a different type of gameplay from the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs just too unpredictable at times for Power to deal with. This is so unlike what I was expecting. I mean, I predicted the Bulldogs. I didn't expect the Bulldogs to win, to be honest. It was a hopium prediction. But right now, I'm looking like a genius.
Well, the positive when you're looking for it for Power is the tide did turn in terms of the gameplay. Shots-wise, that game, Power had 9 shots to 3. The previous game, it was 11 shots to the Bulldogs to 5. So they completely out-pressured and outshot Bulldogs on that occasion. It's just the quality wasn't quite there, but they had the quantity. So if I'm freaky, I don't think there's... Obviously, you're panicking a little bit. You know, you're 3-0 down, but it is the upper bracket. It's fine. You're still in the top 6. It's not the end of the world if you do drop down there and have to play an extra game tomorrow. But I would say that the fact that they outshot them there, it was a completely different scoreboard to what we saw in Game 2, means they have shifted. It's trending in the right direction. They just need to get that first game win on the board, and we could be going the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to talk about it before. The second goal went in for the Bulldogs in that game. You mentioned nerves for the Bulldogs, and strangely, it feels like they get more nervy as the series goes on when they are winning. You know, they take a couple of games early on. They look very, very confident, very comfortable. As it progresses in their favor, you normally see teams build the confidence up. But it feels at times they start to falter once they have a couple of game leads. They did get back on track with that second goal in that previous game. It felt like maybe that was a chance for Power to make something happen off the timeout buff as well. Wasn't the case. Wow. It still feels like there's something there for Power if they can start connecting on offense. But at the moment, it's Bulldogs starting off again with all the possession.
They're just looking more mechanically on as well. Kaka was huge there. Look at this pass to Caleb, who's got 0 boost. It's a beautiful drop-down pass. It's an open net. All three members of Bulldogs went for that one. Kaka wanted the shot as well. Hunter popped it up to Caleb. And Power have no answer. When they're watching the infield, they go the shot. When they watch the shot, Monty, they go the infield pass. They're just one step ahead.
The one thing I will say is the double commit there is potentially some danger signs for the Bulldogs. Of course, they scored, so it doesn't really matter there. But overall, I'd like to see them back to that more composed gameplay from the Bulldogs, where they only send the one necessary. And that time, I mean, it didn't come back to bite them, but if the shot was saved, there was a couple of keepers in net. It could have been saved, then they might have been in some sort of danger on defense, rather. That's an infield towards Fiber. He'll get the shot away. Nice little play, and we are tied up.
That's a beautiful shot. It was very risky. If this dunk came through from Caleb with the pre-flip, they could have been on, but he ripped it wide enough to find Fiber back post, and a beautiful shot to the far side of the net. 1-1. No panic just yet for Power.
It felt like almost a chip there from Fiber just to get the loft on the ball. Caleb, he's awkward on the back wall. Super Lucky tried to find Fiber, and that probably wasn't the play that was necessary as Fiber tries to redirect that one back into the path of a teammate. Couldn't do so. But Power now looking like that creative side we expect from them to be. Gus will take the shot. Crossbar down and out. They're still yet to score more than once in a game as well. So, now question marks to if they can find that extra level, of if they can find something extra. Just the delay here from Fiber waiting on the ground did work out in the end. Might even find the infield towards Super Lucky. Hunter gets the touch.
They are trying to play a bit of counter-attack gameplay. They just need to be careful, the Bulldogs, of not being too slow. They're starting to lose a few 50s just because they are lacking that momentum. I like the fact they're playing composed, but you don't want to fall asleep at the wheel in defense as well. As Kaka is able to take this one up. Super Lucky. They're certainly positioning, I'd say, more aggressive Power. They're not all floating back. They have found that midfield. So it has shifted a touch. This is certainly a crucial game, I'd say, for the Bulldogs. They want to get out of this series before Power really heat up.
I mean, that feels very much like what we were saying in terms of Open 3, where the Bulldogs were able to turn it around. It was probably more so in Game 5 when the Bulldogs were looking very good in that reverse sweep situation. But for Power, I think, the nerves of making sure that, they put the pressure back on the Bulldogs here. If Power gets something, maybe it'll start to creep into the minds of the Bulldogs of, hey, it might just get out of hand. Kaka sets himself up. He'll find the double. There should have been a deny there coming through. Hunter just way too quick to the play. And well, that one goes begging.
Hunter just flew at that ball and gave himself a concussion. Goodness me. Kaka, can he find the 50? Hunter was right there. We're seeing some aggression now from the Bulldogs. The delayed flip to back post. Kaka is circling. He's trying to find Caleb. Has found him out. Gus is awkward. He's very awkward. He's been 50'd. Hunter has an open net. Super Lucky can't get there. Bulldogs get the lead again.
There was just a slow play here. Hunter had no boost to get up for it. He still manages to reach it. Super Lucky also had nothing in tank, just desperately clawing at it and couldn't get there in time. The Bulldogs 2-1 up. They couldn't do the 4-0, could they?
Well, they might. They just might. Super Lucky's completely missed the ball off the kickoff. Didn't read how quick that was coming at him. Says on the backboard, Gus finds Super Lucky. He's low boost. He's just going to have to try and find a clear. Fiber needs to be quick, but the midfield has just been dominated by the Bulldogs. And even when Power press, they too look to equalise, to grab the lead perhaps. And they just find a little angle. They find a way back in, and they keep playing their game of just controlling the speed.
That's going to be a chance. Double opportunity. Drop down, and it is tied up. Super Lucky making it happen there. And I feel like that goal is absolutely critical. Any longer and you start to get nervy, you start to worry that you might not find an answer. Well, they found one there, and well, at the moment, overtime is looming.
Yeah, incredible double there from Superlock. You'd see the 50 just finds him perfectly. They do go for the same back corner kickoff. Gus actually finds the demo, but he's been beaten. Hang on, if Hunter can get it, perhaps a bump. Superlock, he does really well. Look at the space now. Feels like reminiscent of what Caleb had down the other end in the previous game. Superlock, he misses a pre-jump. It's just Fiber. Kaka's looking for a demo. Caleb wants to go on net. He looks for the bump, but Fiber just challenges. Does incredibly well. And all Hunter wants to do is get the ball out of harm's way.
Yeah, would have liked him to take control there. Goes for a sort of fling off the sidewall. Didn't really work out. The pressure put back in the Bulldogs' half. 50 seconds remaining. Power at the moment. This is probably the most aggressive they've looked. It's the most clinical they've certainly looked, scoring twice now in the game. Fiber will cut that one in field. Gus will be delayed to that play. Will put the pressure on Hunter here. Makes him commit. Caleb can't reach it, and it's off the post from Fiber.
They're the ones you're expecting them to score. They just put that one away every day. The week in open four, but it's just not working right now. It's just not happening for them. As Caleb just gets an open net, they don't challenge him at all. They disrespect the open 3 MVP, and he's bringing that form right back.
It is so good from Caleb. The placement into the top corner. The speed, the confidence to go for it. And although it's not an elimination match, the nerves might not be quite as high. This feels very reminiscent of that semi-final from the Bulldogs against Wildcard in just the way they are playing. And can they carry that momentum into tomorrow as long as the scoreline remains the same? Power looking to make something happen in the final 10.
And they're looking to back off. Kaka intercepts in midfield. Hunter's there as well. They just need to play defense. Superlock, he's got 0. He just launches it downfield, but it's just a floater. It's a pop. Gus off the roof, blocked down, and the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs have just swept the reigning champs.
That is... It's simply amazing, to be honest, from the Bulldogs. It was fantastic gameplay. I often think that the defense from the Bulldogs is the part that lets them down, and what they conceded 4 goals across 4 games in this series. That's pretty decent in terms of just keeping Power, the best team in the region right now, at bay. But Power, they've got some questions to answer for tomorrow. They need to find these goals. They need to find the answer. It just simply wasn't good enough.
I've got some questions for Yummy Cheese Man as well, because I know he was locked onto that series. He expected what I expected for a Team Power domination, or at least a 4-1, maybe 4-2. We were hopeful of a Game 7. That could not have gone any differently, Yummy. What on earth was that?
Well, yeah, it was a big surprise, I'll tell you that much. But that was almost a sort of grand final-esque performance, given the bracket situation as well. Now they're going to be on the nice side of the bracket, and Haz is going to be annoyed at me for turning my light off.
Welcome back.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they're going to be in the awesome side of the bracket. Strong performance. I was really impressed, and if we remember back to that event, the third event of the last split where they won that series, Hunter was the standout, and I felt like today, when Hunter's unlocked, that team just goes to a next level. That's when they feel unbeatable at times. Even still, even at their best, I wasn't expecting them to be able to 4-0 Power. So they've had a fantastic performance. That pretty much guarantees them into the grand final in my eyes. And now Power and Wildcard are almost certainly going to be versing each other in the semi-finals now.
It's what we expect from OCE, isn't it? Important semi-finals. It's just always the case, it seems like. But the Bulldogs, yeah, they're in a great position, as you said, to potentially, qualify for the grand final at the first point. But if they play like that again in that grand final matchup, whether it's Power, whether it's Wildcard, whether it's someone else, probably not. But the Bulldogs, they looked incredible in that series. And this is a side that looks so up and down, but they've given me some confidence that maybe they can carry the momentum into tomorrow.
This is ridiculous. I mean, we've got a semi-final now. That Wildcard, I'm not sure if they're going to love this or be cursing the Bulldogs / Power, because now, I mean, a top 2, Power at least won the first event, so they've got the points, but whoever drops out here in the semi-finals, a top 4 finish, that could be it. You know, the Bulldogs are right there, but they got a top 4. They need to win the event. I mean, the winner of that semi-final, that upper semi-final there, Yummy, Power versus Wildcard, could decide the Paris spot. I mean, we mentioned it before. I want to call you out as well. I think Formal said, "Is this we got a 3-team region?" And you said, "No, it's a 2-team region." In the previous, is it a 3-team region again? That is the Bulldogs that we want to see every single time.
I said they have to make a grand finals or, take the 10. I said it in that series that they have to do something like this to get themselves back in. They were close, but they'd fallen out. But you got to say that if they're able to 4-0 one of the top two and the better of the top two, then they deserve to be in that 3-team region bucket once again. I think it is an advantage to Wildcard that Power are in the same side. Technically, Power could lose to Champs. And then if Wildcard beat Power in the semi-finals, then all of a sudden there's less pressure on them for the grand finals. They'd still be heading up over the top of Power in terms of points. They'd be just slightly behind Bulldogs going into the final event. But obviously it would mean that they have 2 shakes at the tail. If Bulldogs go and win this entire thing, by the way, after Wildcard, then we'd have essentially 3 teams tied going into the last event.
And I have a moment to think here for Take Flight. If very unfortunate for Amphis being injured, but the Bulldogs lost to Take Flight 3-0 in the GSL of Open 4. So we could have been looking at a 4-team region potentially. That would have been very interesting if different circumstances. But for this matchup in the semi-final that we could be seeing tomorrow, I think I've said it before, the semi-final is what we look at so often in OCE. They can be so critical, more so now with the 1 seed. This playoff Sunday could be absolutely cinema.
Oh, it will be. It will be. This is ridiculous. I'm loving the look of this bracket. I'm absolutely pumped for the schedule for Champ Sunday. We have 5 best of 7s. I mean, we could really do some damage in terms of the Paris qualification spots based on the results.
You also say that, and in classic OCE fashion, we might just see Nerve take down Bulldogs in the semi-finals, and then
we'll see a Scribs world win.
Entire excitement of the sort of third team making their comeuppance and getting into that race would be to the wayside, but I'm not expecting it in this one. That's a third event thing that we do. That's the third event where the likes of Wildcard fall out and just let the other team make it to the Paris Major. But we've got some exciting matches. I'm actually kind of keen for this first match, Nerve versus 8, because we've talked about Nerve in the last event. Are they going to make it into that top 4? We felt like they possibly could. They could have gone further. This is obviously a golden opportunity.
I feel like 8 is a team that out of everyone left, you go, give us them for the top 4 matchup. And it's unfortunate to say for 8, but the circumstances, they put themselves in the top 6, and it was ridiculous. It was well done to them, but I feel like they are the team to look at. And Nerve, I mentioned it previously, that series, Nerve, the player, looking to make a top 4, couldn't do it previously, as you said. That is a massive opportunity to do so starting off tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, an incredible day's action is just set up for us thanks to that playoff Saturday. And I think for everyone else outside of Power, we kind of were questioning whether anyone could be close to Power. When you see Wildcard get beat how they did in Open 4, getting 4-0 in a grand final. But, it's a classic saying, if it bleeds, you can kill it. And I think we saw the fact that they are beatable. They are beatable, Team Power. I think the confidence you can get from a wild card coming in that semi-final now, and even as you mentioned, Yami, some of these lower teams like Nerve, it's closer than you think. It's always closer than it looks, I feel like, OCE. There's never that one team too far ahead outside of probably,
and there
X-Power.
is an elephant in the room. There's a skeleton in the closet here, CJ. That Power now have to take down Misty just to even get a chance.
Yeah, well, how are they meant to deal with your boy at the end of the day?
That's a great way to wrap up the day, Yummy. Take us out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. What a fantastic day of Rocket League. As we said, tomorrow is going to be a blockbuster. It could be do or die for many of these teams going to the Paris Major. I hope you all enjoyed today and have a fantastic Easter Sunday. We'll see you all tomorrow night.
Eat your chockies.
I don't wanna lose it all, loving you.
I don't know. Lucy.